What up, Twitch world? How are we doing? The second-hand store is now open for the next second-hand chat show. As you can see, I have some lovely guests with me, and I will introduce them momentarily. But first, we need to do a couple of quick open house things. Firstly, thank you, None Taken and So What's 80 for the follow since last stream. Much appreciated. And also, don't bother doing any sound redeems because they won't work during the chat show. And Twitch doesn't let you refund them, so that's a thing. And it just means that when I switch back to non-chat show later on, when this is all stream is finished, it will just scare the crap out of me because I'll go off then. And then also, where I'll be talking to the guests and stuff and focusing on chat with them, I won't be responding to chat vocally, but I will do it in chat. And my guests are also welcome to talk to chat in chat if they want to. So that's all of the fun things. Now let's cue the theme tune.
Everybody come on down, and everybody gather round. We're gonna hang with some friends tonight. We're gonna hang with some friends, alright. It will be a real good time. The company here is sublime. We're gonna hang with some friends, alright. We're gonna hang with some friends tonight. So make sure that you spread the wholesome wherever you may go. So make sure that you spread the wholesome, 'cause it's a second-hand chat show.
It's done the thing. There you go. Hello. So we have with us today the wonderful Cinnamon Snow. Snow, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Good. The also amazing Ainsley Morimoto. Ains, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. And the ever delightful Mrs. Dunces. Claire, how are you today?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Good. Right. So before we get started, the other thing to talk about is we have on this channel a cocktail redeem, where you can redeem a cocktail based on yourself or any character from a game we're currently playing. Obviously, I couldn't give you guys a cocktail for free because you'd have to get the redeem, but what I like to do is to take one ingredient based on each of my guests and make a chat show cocktail. And today's an interesting one because I've actually given the same ingredient to two people and really doubled down on something. But I know it's technically spelt different, but I felt with Cinnamon Snow here we had to have a cinnamon-based drink.
Yes.
Yeah, and similarly, Ains being half Oni demon, I assume you'll know about the fires of hell. And so I've doubled down on the cinnamon for the extra spice, and put 2 shots of cinnamon jack in this, and then yeah, and then for Claire, we've gone for a nice sort of fruity treat and like just a nice comfortable drink because I feel like sweet and comfortable is very much Claire's sort of thing. So I've just topped it up with a nice fruit cider. I don't know how well cider and bourbon mix, but in my mind, this is kind of just like a spiced fruit drink, and it's going to be really good. But let's find out. That is actually quite nice. It's but yeah, it's just like a cinnamon fruit thing. It's really autumnal. It's very fitting for the season.
That's good.
That's good actually. I was really worried, but that's actually very nice.
That's alright then.
Yeah. I'm just going to turn down music a tad more. Right. Cool. Yeah, and I've decided to name that drink the Mrs. Cinnamon Morimoto, which is maybe the drink I've had that sounds the most like a stripper. So, but it's good. I would recommend that one. I will put it in Discord later so people can see it. Right, so without further ado, let's get into some interviews with our lovely guests so you can all get to know them a little bit better. My laptop has gone weird. Okay. I fixed it, it's fine.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, nothing's on fire yet. We're okay. So let's start with you, Snow. I thought streaming work is not a thing that many people do. Hello. That is you. Yeah, streaming work is not a thing that many people do. What made you decide that you wanted to do that?
So part of it was originally because when I was working on my coding projects the first time around, I needed to know roughly how long it was taking me to do them with my knowledge base, because it just fascinated me, and also so that in the case that anybody who knew me from school wanted to see, I would have a recorded version of it, and I could send that to them.
So it was like essentially doing like lecture notes.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, but it's like, because I don't always process what I'm thinking. What I do is I'll take a recording of it, and then from there I'll be like, so I did this and this, that didn't work, this works, so what can I do to remedy all the above?
That's really cool. That's like, yeah, it's like using your own work to improve your work. Like, it's a good way to like learn from your own things.
Yeah.
It's very clever. It appears to me, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but that your streams are much more chat focused than content focused.
They are.
Yeah.
Definitely more chat focused. I don't, because all the games that I play, if I get too focused, then I don't read at all. I'm more chatty than I am game because most of my games are something lo-fi that I can constantly take breaks from, or stuff like Tetris, which are very short games and fast-paced.
Yes. But I was wondering, sort of, do you ever worry that you won't have things to talk about, or that you'll run out of things to say?
Always.
Always.
That's something that I always worry about, because I don't, like, I think a lot, but I don't think about things that I can talk about a lot. And so, mainly, if there's nothing for me to talk about, I'll start rambling about my schoolwork or random things. Lately, I've been really quiet because I'm in a library most of the time whenever I stream. And so instead, we just get quiet and listen to music.
I mean, that's fair. I guess listening to music is a good way to get around it. I've always sort of found whenever I have like chatting streams, I have to do a fill or section or something. Say if I'm playing a collab and the other person has to go away for a minute or something. I find the pressure that I suddenly have to talk gets like way too much, and I just have no idea, and it deletes everything in my brain, and I'm just like, I don't know what to talk. It's hard. But you seem to deal with it really well.
Yeah.
I've never been.
I pick up old topics, or like I start explaining things. That's how I do it. It's normally how it goes for me. It's just like one topic that I've talked about very mildly in the past, I'll pick it up again and I'll start talking about it in more detail.
So it's a good way to do it. Any sort of budding chatting streamers out there, this is the advice you need, because it freaks me the hell out. I think the only time I've had to do a prolonged just chatting thing was when I was playing Resident Evil with Prez, and he didn't say he was doing a BRB or something. I think something came up, but he just vanished for 20 minutes and no one had any idea where he was. And I was like, oh my god, I've got to fill this space. And it was, really intense.
You gotta be like, so how is chat? Hello, guys.
Yeah.
What's up?
It wasn't too bad, because I could kind of do that in this. In my chat, very much when I'm doing stuff on my own, 99% of people are lurking and don't interact so much, which is fine. It's still really nice that they're there, but it's very hard to sort of do the let's pick up on what chat's up to.
Yeah. I totally get that, because my morning streams are focused around just me working, and a lot of it is me doing my work, and then occasionally I'll look over chat and be like, let's say it's one of my regulars, like Ing, hi Ing, how are you doing? What's up with your life? Stuff like that. Or if they're not there to respond, it's just like, so school for me has been lately,
That's cool. And then finally I wanted to ask you, so a big part of your streaming lore is the Pile TM, and I just wanted to know how that came about. and how your whole sort of murder saga began.
So, that is a funny thing. So the pile came from when I was watching Tony's stream, and he was doing the trolley problem, and I was aiming for getting the most body count up, and I just kept picking the one that would give me the most deaths in the shortest amount of time possible. It's just like, okay, I'm up to 69 bodies. Nice.
Nice.
I just gotta keep adding until I get more. And the whole like knife thing is I've always had a fascination with knives. And it was a suitable item, and because my character has a sword, and I've always imagined her with a sword.
Makes sense. That's very cool. So, do you have a question you would like to ask me?
How is streaming? How did you start streaming? I guess.
How did I start streaming? I guess like a lot of people, I started streaming when the pandemic happened, because I got furloughed, and all of a sudden I was like, well, I've got all of this time on my hands that I can do things that I've wanted to do. So I know it sounds really weird, but I tried to view the whole pandemic thing as a very optimistic thing. I know for a lot of people it was a really awful time, but I was like, all of a sudden I'm being paid to not go to work. This is brilliant. Right? What hobbies have I always wanted to have that I've never had time? Let's start doing those and make the most of it. And I only sort of got into Twitch a couple of months before. I started by watching a streamer called Don't Rage Quit, who is absolutely amazing if you ever get time to check her out. And I just sort of saw the way that she interacted with her followers. I think at the time I started watching her, she had literally just hit partner. So she usually had sort of like 80 to 120 people in her streams at a time, but she still made time for every single one and made like the really nice, friendly family environment. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I'd like to sort of try and do that. And then so many of my friends I knew who couldn't go out and like lived on their own and stuff were like getting really lonely and depressed. So it was like, well, what about if I stream, like, I think I started off with 3 times a week, and it's just like, even if it's just a couple of hours here and there, it's the time that people can come and hang out and not be on their own. So let's try and do that. And then I loved it, and it very quickly went up to 4 times a week, and then that very quickly changed to 5 times a week. Until I had to go back to work, and then unfortunately life took over again. But I've tried to do what I can to carry on streaming, because it's just really nice having a time where people can just be friends, and sort of really making that the forefront of what I do, or trying to. And
That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that still comes across, that that's kind of the thing, the most important thing from streams for me, is that we can just be friends. Yeah. And I've said ever since I've been doing it, it's really awesome now that I have friends in all different countries around the world and stuff. Like one of the first friends I met on Twitch lived in South Korea.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then obviously I now know loads of Americans, and the fact that I'm also now nocturnal means that I basically live on American time in the UK. So having lots of American friends is really convenient, because it's like, hey, you're awake when I am.
You're awake, and so am I.
Yeah.
Wanna hang out?
That's it. It's really difficult being with my friends and being like, hey, so guys, what are we up to? And they're like, going to bed. And I'm like, cool.
Well, good night.
Yeah, I guess I'll just sit here then. But no, that was the origins of my streaming. It was something to do in the pandemic, and, you know, a way to make my friends hopefully a bit less lonely.
That's a good point to start streaming.
I think a lot of people did start streaming in that sort of time. It was a very over-concentrated with like new streamers.
Yeah, and also like typically in January or like the early months of the year, a lot of people start streaming because they have time. It's when you see a lot of influx for new streamers, or people take breaks, because a lot of big people, believe it or not, start taking breaks around December to January, mostly for like the Christmas season or holiday season.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Cool. Right. Moving on. Ains, let's talk to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. I know this is kind of I don't know if you've been doing it recently, but certainly at the beginning of the year, you were playing a few games with the crowd control functions. And I just wanted to know, how do you think using crowd control changes streaming games?
I feel like it puts the chat into the stream even more. So it makes it feel like the chat is playing along with you, which is what I really liked about it. After the whole Halloween thing that I'm doing, I'm probably gonna continue doing Resident Evil and Legend of Zelda with that, because I was really enjoying that.
Nice. I hadn't seen the Zelda. I had seen some of your Resident Evil crowd control, and it was amazing.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Hectic, but a lot of fun.
Yes. Well, it's interesting that you would mention the Halloween thing, because I was going to say, as you are in the midst of doing your spooky season of games, are you finding it's getting you in a Halloween mood, and do you have like a big Halloween finale planned for it? If you do, you don't have to tell us what it is, but...
Well, I wouldn't say I have a finale for it. I kind of just throw in games that I have interest in, and kind of suggest do like a poll on Twitter and see like what people may feel like watching. Like recently is the My Friendly Neighborhood, which I wasn't able to stream last weekend and this weekend, unfortunately, but I do plan to stream it this coming weekend. I did play it for like maybe a minute or two just to see if everything ran smoothly, and it seemed pretty interesting so far.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to that.
It's certainly a game I'm interested in. I've heard it's like old school survival horror but with puppets.
Yeah, it started off with like a puzzle like right off the bat, which I found pretty interesting because I do like myself some puzzles. As for the getting me in the Halloween like mood, it most definitely does.
Good, excellent. And then finally, you do a lot of your streams as like collabs or like group streams and stuff. And how do you find this differs from streaming on your own?
For me, I feel like I have trouble like being myself when I'm by myself. So I feel like I guess my true self comes out more when I'm in a group.
All right.
In a way, that's me trying to like getting used to like letting my joking and like just the way I am come out easier, and then as it happens, I feel like I'll progressively like end up doing that myself when I'm by myself on streams.
So you find like you're much more self-conscious streaming on your own. Is that the kind of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how you were talking with Snow earlier about just chatting. Like I want to do that more, but I feel like I'll just overthink on what to talk about and just end up not saying anything.
Yeah. It's really hard. Awkward silences are a big thing in just chatting, I find, and then obviously, I don't know, just chatting situation is the worst time to have an awkward silence. But,
especially
right, is there anything you would like to ask me?
yeah, I had one of two questions, but I had more interest in this one, and it was is being a parent like you expected it to be?
I don't know. I don't really know what I expected it to be. I think to start with, it was probably a lot easier than I thought it would be, which is maybe maybe we just got very lucky with how good Lyra was as like a very small baby. But like, I mean, we definitely got lucky. For she slept through the night from about 2.5 months, which is incredible. But I don't know. I just found it wasn't like after the first week, it wasn't like too difficult. You just kind of sit with your child. They don't really do anything. So in the early stages, I think it was definitely easier than people made out. But like I say, maybe we just got a bit lucky. I don't know. I think it's really different because from then, like from maybe sort of like 6 or 7 months, once your kid sort of slowly starts developing like a proper personality and like their own way of behaving, because you kind of grow with them, you sort of just expect what they're going to do. And I guess where this is my first child, I didn't have any other things to base it on, so I've just sort of expected how she behaves. I don't know if that makes sense. Or
yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a kid, obviously, but I did help raise my first niece and first nephew. So I understand like how you mean, like, you know, that they end up making well, not making, but like having their own personalities after a certain amount of time, and I guess like that flows into both of you growing together. I suppose.
Yeah, that's very much it. It's very much a partnership. Like you see how they grow, and it kind of changes how you behave with them and those sorts of things. And I don't know. There's sort of some things like we're quite lucky as well, I guess, that Lyra's sort of one thing she's always excelled in is like talking. She's always been really good at talking for whatever age she is. So most of the time, she's very good at communicating what is bothering her, which has made things easier as well, because it's much more easy to react to her when you know what's going wrong. I mean, a lot of the time she does like to make up that she's hurt herself. She'll just come up to you, like nothing would have happened, and she'll just come up to you and be like, "My knee hurts. Kiss it better."
Just wants to be babied.
Yeah. But then you'll be like, "You haven't hurt yourself," and she'll be like, "Kiss it better." So then you sort of do it. You kiss it better, and then she'll just be like, "All right, I'm gonna go back to playing." And it's really weird.
Alright, I had my fill. Going back to what I was doing.
Yeah. I guess actually the thing that I haven't expected, or have maybe found harder than I expected, is just how much she prefers her mum. I mean, I guess I expected that a little bit, but like she'll have some days are better than others, but like she'll have some days where I'll walk up to her and she'll just go, "No, get away, want mummy." And like she's obviously one, she doesn't understand social conventions, but to me it's like, oh, my heart. I just
Yeah.
I had a week off the other day because my dad was on holiday, so I had to sort of be off work to look after her on the days my dad normally has her. And then so I was like, right, well, I never get to take you out because normally I'm asleep, but like as I'm on normal people time for this week, I'm going to take you out and we're going to have a really fun day. And like I took her to the zoo because she loves animals, and like for the morning she was fine, but as soon as we finished lunch she was like, "Why isn't mummy here?" And I was like, "Because mum's working." And she's like, "Where's mum working?" It's like, "At home." So I go home now. And it's just like, no. And she got
not yet.
Yeah, and she got really upset because she couldn't be with her mum, and it's things like that. They hurt a lot more than you expect them to.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the most unexpected thing. It's like I'm really trying to connect with you, and you just want mum. And I get it. Your mum's wonderful. I met her. Like I understand, but that's maybe the most unexpected thing that's come up recently.
I'm sure she'll grow into understanding soon.
Yeah. We had a couple of days recently, actually, where annoyingly it was while I was at work. But she was up all night with Katie and just being like, "I want a daddy cuddle," and it's just like, right? And she's never been like that, and it's just like it's so typical that she'd do that on a night I'm working. So they don't get any sleep because she's up all night complaining, and the one thing she wants is me. And I was just like, oh, anytime I'm actually here though, she's just like, "No, want mum."
Now, I'm sure if you heard it while working, you're like, "All right, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Family emergency." It's out.
Yeah. Cool. Claire, let's move on to you. Hello. So, the big thing, I'm aware I've talked to you about this, but it might be something that other people are interested in. But how did you go from adamantly never wanting to stream horror games to having weekly Phasmo streams?
I don't know. No, so off stream I play with my brother and my nephew quite a lot, and they were always trying to get me to play Phasmo in particular, and I was always adamant, no, not going to touch it, it's too scary. And then I was just like, oh, do you know what, I'll get one of my other streamer friends in, and she's as much of a bigger whip as me, so it would make it much more easier. And then it just became a weekly thing.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
They're really fun streams to watch. But that is like
I absolutely poop my pants. But they are quite fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember when Dunces tried to get you to do the RE2 remake when that came out, and like just going. But even so, seeing you try to play that and in like an hour getting about 5 minutes through the game, you know, going from that to seeing you play Phasmo every week, it's
weird.
Yeah.
We've gone from playing like the cozy, comfy games,
Yep.
to still playing those, to now on a Sunday, which used to be like what we used to call like the Saucy Sunday, like the Among Us streams, to now like Scary Sunday, where it's me screaming my head off at an imaginary ghost that's most likely gonna kill me because I don't know how to hide in Phasmo.
As you had mentioned them, I was going to say, when you're not chasing ghosts, you are usually playing more comfy games, like doing Sims or Disney Dreamlight.
Yeah.
What attracts you to these sorts of games, and what makes them good to stream?
So Sims, I've been obsessed with that since my friend introduced me when I was like 12 years old. So the game would have been very new then. So I've always kind of grown attached to it, and as each one came out, and just streaming it, I think it was just more of I was taking over Dunce's streams for a while, and it kind of became like, well, why don't I just do my own thing on my own channel? And I love Sims, you know, and even if nobody cares for it, but you know, just to chat to other people while you're playing a game that doesn't necessarily need your concentration. Yes, there's going to be loads of fires. Yes, people get struck by lightning. I may or may not have purposely killed people in a pool. But, you know, the things you do with Sims is just limitless. It's great. So, like, right now, we've just started, like, a whole Big Brother series. So, I found one of our friends, like, online, found a guide to how that would work. So we're going to follow that and just see how it goes.
Nice.
I don't know what the end goal will be, but we'll figure it out as it goes along.
Yeah. That actually sort of leads nicely into my next thing, because I was going to say, although you sort of think of like the Sims as a comfy game, I know you have tried to do some challenge things, like if your new Big Brother thing might be a thing, and I know you were doing the 100 Babies challenge a while ago.
Oh, yeah, I gave up.
But I was wondering, how does doing challenges change your experience with it?
It's much more fun.
Yep.
I do find, so Sims, just random things come out when you're playing Sims. So I have a few people who like to misquote me in my chat. So like, you know, like the exclamation quote thing. So there are very, very out of context things.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. That something silly like so when I started the 100 Baby Challenge, I did it a bit differently. So I kind of did like the 100 babies, but the dads were always going to be killed.
Yeah.
So kind of made it like a Black Widow challenge too, and that we would, instead of having a job and like selling art, fishing, things like that, we would just take their money. Well, one of them happened to be a OAP. And as like they got married, and I'm like, oh, let's have a look at their pension, and then they die on screen. So then I kind of became the OAP killer. By accident, obviously I did do that on purpose. And then that's when the idea of like a swimming pool kind of came around.
Yeah.
To like just lock them in there. And
I was going to say, that's like the famous thing from like the first Sims, isn't it? Is you put everyone in a swimming pool and delete the stairs.
Exactly. Or the old haystacks. You'd put them in the kitchen and lock them in by the oven, and it would all go on fire. But obviously you don't have that in Sims 4. But yeah, so that kind of became a thing. But the more ghosts you have on your plot, the more things that they break. Right. And then what was happening is that my game was lagging because at one point I think I had like 30 ghosts plus 30 babies. So you got 30 screaming babies, and then you've got 30 ghosts breaking a toilet, breaking a bath, breaking a TV. It just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. So I thought, okay, I'll leave that for a little while. But I forgot to change my settings. So a lot of them died of natural causes, not the swimming pool.
Okay.
I will go back and revisit it one day.
So that what you're saying is, not only do you kill OAPs, but due to neglect you killed 30 children.
Pretty much, yeah.
Alright. There you go. That's your new quote for everyone. Like, she admitted it. You saw it there.
Out of context, that sounds bad.
Yeah,
See?
That's it. You can maybe you can rival Snow's 69 bodies hit by a train. Do you have a question you'd like to ask me?
Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you about Lyra.
Okay.
Um.
Well, that's a shame because I do love talking about her.
No, I just wasn't sure if you'd get bored of being asked. But I could ask you what I was actually going to ask you.
I don't mind. You can ask me what you want.
Which is basically, how do you fit in sort of like your whole day, work, and being a parent? Like, how do you make it all, you know, sort of like you've done bedtime and then you're streaming?
Yeah.
Do you give yourself a bit of relaxation time? Like,
No.
is there anything you do before you go live?
It very much depends on. So if I'm doing a stream on my own, rather than like with other people, the start time is very loose. So that when Lyra goes to bed, and it also depends on how tired Katie is, because sometimes Lyra will go to bed, and then Katie will be like, you know what, I'm just going to go to bed too, and I'm like, right, well it's 9 o'clock, let's get streaming. Or sometimes Lyra will go to bed and Katie will stay up for a bit and we might watch telly for an hour or so, and then she'll go to bed and then I'll start streaming, you know. So if Katie is not too tired, I always prioritise having at least an hour or an hour and a half or something with her before I stream.
Yeah.
And if sometimes that means we don't start streaming till 10:30, then so be it. But you know, I have to at some point have a marriage, you know, like.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
make it work for you, don't you?
That's it. But then, sort of, I only do like this is also I only stream at the weekend, and so, and then it would be like when I finish streaming at 2, I try and finish around 2 a.m. because that's like my normal dinner time.
Yeah.
And then I'll have some food, and then I have until everyone gets up in the morning. As long as I do some like washing and tidying and stuff, I've essentially got the next 3 or 4 hours to do whatever I want, and that's my time to myself.
That's one of the main reasons why I move my streams
Yeah.
on certain days during the day, because Dances doesn't finish work till 8. So I was finding he's finishing work, I'm streaming,
Yeah.
and then on the days I don't stream, I'm helping my mum. So it was getting to a point where we're not spending as much time together. So I thought if I shift some things along,
That's it. It's
it works out better.
really important that you still make time for your life.
Exactly.
Yeah. As for during the week, my time to myself is basically like I get home from work about 6:30 in the morning, and I don't get Lyra up until 7:30. So that hour is like my time, and the rest of the time I'm either asleep or doing parenting or tidying the house or something.
The regular stuff.
Yeah. So I don't really get much time to my self during the week. Like I say, maybe about an hour most mornings. But if I leave work a bit late, then all of a sudden I don't have that hour anymore.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if we've had a particularly like rough night or something and it's like, you know what, I can't face the washing up now, then I'll get home and have to do it in the morning before they get up. So there isn't the most time in the week, but like I say, I get a few hours when I finish stream before they get up in the evening at the weekend that I can kind of do whatever. I actually normally I would work Fridays, but this week I'm on a 3-day weekend. So yesterday I got to spend 4 hours playing Mortal Kombat, and it was the first time I turned my PlayStation on other than for a stream in about 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
So it was really nice just to sit down and be like, oh, I can do some gaming now.
Always a relief when you can fit that in.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, life is pretty hectic between, you know, raising a toddler, as I'm sure you know, and trying to work full time. It probably doesn't help that I also do night shifts, but it's where
A little bit easier now she's in school.
yeah.
I have a little bit more time to get things done. Certain things that it's much easier to sort out.
We were saying we're really looking forward to when you get to like the free childcare for a bit.
Oh yeah.
And we were sure someone told us it started at 2, and we were like, yes, it's almost there. So in January we can send her to daycare an extra day a week that she doesn't need to do, just so we can have a bit more time to do stuff. And then
it starts at 2 now, doesn't it?
It doesn't. No, I looked it up the other day. It starts at 3. And I was
it hasn't started yet then.
No.
They are doing it.
They are changing it till
phasing
2.
in,
Yeah, but it's still 3 at the moment, which is a shame. But soon. But soon.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. It would probably be about this time next year, like just as she turns 3, they'll put it in. And Because that would be just our luck, yeah.
When she's starting school, and she's in free education anyway.
Yeah. Right then. So, time for the new to this year section of the show, where we do the Spread the Wholesome section, where all of my guests will have brought along a streamer that they want to show out and talk about and tell you why they're amazing.
You're asking me to pick one?
Yeah.
I may have forgotten to pick a streamer.
That's fine.
My little one's
Oopsie.
crying.
That's
I
okay.
will be back.
Alright. Well, that's fine. I guess Ains can go first while you have a think and you deal with your child.
Well, I was gonna, the obvious thing that someone would probably say nowadays is Prez, but I want to deviate from that, so...
Yeah, take that, Prez. Yeah, the very first one of these I did, I had two people in the episode wanting to say Prez, so after one of them did it, the other one was like, But that's fine. I understand. But
But I was gonna say,
This is a big part of our lives now.
yeah.
very, very true. Very true. I was gonna say Silva,
It's cool. I know who that
because
is.
I admire how she just sticks to what she wants to do, and doesn't really care about what people think. So she says what she's thinking and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that's something I have trouble doing, saying what's on my mind.
Hmm.
And I also admire how she's stuck with rigging, because I wanted to do that too, but I do not have the attention span to just stick with it like she did.
Yeah, and the fact that she's now doing it as a job.
Yes, she does an amazing job.
So, sorry. My cloud bot decided to turn itself off. There's a thing, I don't know if you guys get it, where just maybe like once every couple of months or something, just for no reason, cloud bot turns itself off. I don't know. And I just have to... And it should work now. Am I doing it right? It is, it's silver, like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you not
I
working?
shout out Silva a bunch, so I've memorized how to write her name.
It said turn on.
This is why I use things like Stream Elements, because the servers are hosted by their own company, and if they go down, they'll tell you. Or I think Mootbot's another one, and then there's also Mix It Up.
There you go.
Press loves to do.
Yeah, I mean, Prez has told me that I should change off Streamlabs and use something different for ages, but I'm like, everything's already set up.
So like, not to advertise my own help,
Hmm.
but I've helped set up a lot of people with Mix It Up.
Okay.
So like, if you ever needed help or for them to be done for you, I can help with that.
Okay.
For Blue, I think I had set all of them up and then exported them to her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really fun and easy because I just walk her through how to import them and then ta-da, all done.
All right. Well, I've got a quite busy rest of this month, and maybe in November we could definitely look into doing that then. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Upgrades, people.
Yeah.
Upgrades.
Everything's gonna get changed.
All of it.
That's it.
Changed.
And that means
UCK.
that means if it's all broken, then I can just be like, it's not my fault. We're using new technology.
New technology.
It's fine. It will absolutely be my fault, but I'll have an excuse.
People don't need to know it's your fault.
That's it.
Nobody could ever blame UCK. Who would ever do that?
Prez.
Because Prez can't blame himself.
No. Anyway.
For the streamer that I want to shout out, I think it would either have to be my best friend Nova Starlight or Serenity of the Moon.
Let's do both. Why not? Let's be extra friendly. We'll do Nova Starlight first. What's some nice things about them?
She is my best friend, and she keeps
Oh, it's got
me...
two A's. Damn. I tried to guess. Sorry.
She keeps me going through life and keeps me grounded a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with my past breakup. It's been at least 6 months now, but she also does art for my channel as a way of giving back to me, because we help each other equally. I'll help her with, let's say, her chemistry, or school things, or just hanging out with her, and she'd be like, here's some art, take it. You don't have a choice. She draws really fast. It's unfathomable how fast she draws. So I have some emotes from her. I have some of my stuff is based off of things that she's told me, and then I also help her back with little pieces of art advice. It's really nice and fun.
Awesome.
As for Mooney, she's true to herself, which I can't always do because sometimes I have to keep myself private. She also does these really fun Friday streams where we get to come on, and even though she could definitely take away my permissions to join her, because I'm a bit of a bully. We'll be honest. I'm a bit of a bully. I am a bully. And I always tease her, whether it's on stream or off stream. But she finds the fun in it, and she keeps moving forward anyways.
That's it. I think it's okay because you bully from a place you bully as a place from love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. You bully in a nice way. It's because you care.
It's like, because I love you, I'm gonna bully and tease you because
exactly.
You're my friend.
Right.
And honestly, we've grown really close the past couple of weeks, because we spend so much time together now.
Good. Okay. Lovely. Is the little one okay now?
Yes, needed to go to the toilet, and she's really upset. She can't verbally tell you what she needs. You kind of have to guess. So she's back to sleep and everything now. So
excellent.
We're all good.
Good. Right. So just to catch you up, we've shouted out Silver and Serenity of the Moon and Nova Starlight as lovely streamers that we know, in case you want to ever see any of those people. Because I always this is a really nice section as well, because it means I get anytime you suggest people that I don't know who they are, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go check them out.
Definitely.
And
good idea.
Yeah, and the whole reason I started this chat show was because I find the networking aspect of Twitch really difficult. And I was like, if I can just bring on streamers that I like that maybe don't know each other, and maybe their communities don't know each other and stuff, this will be a good way to network in a fun way. So I'm adding in this section, because obviously you were on this chat show last year when we didn't have this section. But adding this on is, I think, a really nice idea.
It is.
But sorry, that's a weird tangent. Who would you like to shout out and?
So mine would be the lovely Bun One Gaming. They are absolutely incredible. They are
WUN for one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bun One Gaming. They are a couple, a married couple who stream together. You mostly see Mr. B on camera, but I've kind of formed a friendship with them outside of streaming as well. So me and Mrs. B have sort of regular movie nights. We're catching up about Big Brother and things like that. It's been really nice. But the thing I really admire about them it's their big events that they do on their stream. So if it's their birthday, they share it with you. Christmas, Halloween, the things that they do in their streams, they include you. You almost feel like you're there with them in the room.
Yeah.
And they're amazing, honestly. But not just that, they make time to get to know you.
Yeah.
So like, you could be a brand new person and they'll just be as excited to see you as you probably are to see them, and it's amazing. And also they have really adorable bunnies that make appearances on stream. What more could you want?
Well, that's it.
Call of Duty and bunnies. Great.
Yeah. So
I love it.
Hey, if you don't like the violence, look at the bunny.
Here's some bunnies. They're always in and out. It's perfect.
Do they have Do they have a bunny cam?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
It's always on at the bottom.
Nice.
And I think they've added a new thing now where one of the bunnies is called Milo. So if you type in Milo, a little video of him comes up.
Aw,
It's adorable. I love it.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. Cool.
I definitely recommend them.
There you go. There's some new streamers for you to all check out. But right, before we move on to our next section, what is a chat show without a quick ad break? The ad break today is incredibly important because starting next week and the week after, I will be doing charity streams for both weekends. Of the whole weekend, I'll be raising money. We are raising money for Southampton Hospital, which is, objectively speaking, it's a really good cause to raise money for because they are a university hospital, so they teach new doctors and stuff how to be doctors, or probably not just doctors, but all like medical professions. And they are also one of the forefronts of medical research in the UK. They're one of the biggest places, for it. And on a more personal level, the reason I wanted to raise money for them is because a couple of months ago, my sister-in-law had a heart attack and unfortunately ended up, after a few weeks, dying. But she was at Southampton Hospital at the end, and the staff were amazing, gave her the best care they could, looked after her really well in the last time. So we're going to be doing some big fun streams to try and raise money for them next week and the week after. If people want to come by, it would be really cool. We're going to have lots of donation goals, like you can, like making me eat. I've got both the normal like bean boozled that you see a lot of people do, where they're like the weird flavors and stuff. I've also got spicy ones, which vary in Scovilles dramatically.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think like the lowest one is about like 2,000 or something, so like a mild chili, but the highest one is about 18,000, and they like, yeah. But obviously they all look the same, so you have no idea what you're gonna get.
First being 18,000.
Yeah. That's it. I'm going to make sure I always have milk on hand, just for my own safety, but I will try and, I will try and bear it for at least a while before I have to resort to that, even if I get a hot one.
I believe lemonade also helps with that.
Believe what?
Lemonade?
Lemonade. Oh, really? I do like that more than milk. Okay. I'll have milk in one hand and lemonade in the other, and we'll just go. But yeah, so there's things like that. At the beginning of every stream, I will be spinning a spinner, which will make me do weird like things, which can be like gift a sub, or like have a bean boozled, or like make a cocktail, so it's a bit of a drinky stream, or play the whole stream one-handed, or all different things. And then we'll be working towards big milestones for raising certain amounts of money. One of which I know is buy a sloth mask and then have a sloth mask redeem on the channel. One of which is I think the top end, if we reach like the most money, is buy a Spider-Man costume for streaming Spider-Man 2 in. So, there's lots of crazy things coming up. So, next couple of weeks, we'll be raising money. The streams we'll be doing, the first one is going to be a Pokemon Snap stream, whereas on top of every other bonus, if you donate, you get to choose what course I do next, so what Pokemon I go and take photos of. Then we'll be doing a sexy Battle Wizard stream with a few friends, which is a tabletop RPG, and if you do any donations, then you get to add a help or hindrance to the people playing immediately, and also whoever donates the most during that stream is going to choose what the end monster they fight at the end of the game is. Then we're going to be, the stream after that will be like an entire playthrough of Stray, where anytime you donate I will meow at you. And then to finish it off, we'll be doing my 500 follow celebration, which we got to a little while ago, where I will be doing speedruns of Octodad one-handed. And I'm going to email Young Horses, who are the people who make Octodad, to tell them I'm doing it, and be like, guys, will you be really impressed if I can do Octodad with one hand in less than like an hour? And that we're going to be doing that. It's going to be good fun. So that's what's coming up over the next couple of weekends. I know that's a much longer ad than they normally are, but it's a really important thing. And even if you can't like donate or anything, if you can just spread the word, then make this a big thing. That would be great. Okay. Back to chat show. Is there anything? So now we just come to a just general chat. Is there anything that any of you would like to talk about?
I think I want to ask everybody else, what got them into streaming?
Okay. Well, for me, it was similar to CK about like, you know, the pandemic happened. But I always looked up to this certain YouTube group that I don't know if any of you have heard of them. Their group was called The Creatures, and I followed specifically a couple of the members. One of them being Uber Hexer Nova, and the other one being Immortal HD. And I found their content like really entertaining and like helped me through like when I had rough times in high school or like college and all that. So I wanted to do something similar and create content and, you know, help alleviate other people's days if they had rough ones, or like, you know, just provide something to watch in the background if anything. So I started like maybe a couple streams during the first year of the pandemic, and then I stopped for a bit, and then my best friend started streaming, and then I decided to just join in and start streaming again. And I just kind of consistently but inconsistently started streaming, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now here we are.
So I started last May last year. I pretty much took over Dance's channel for a little bit, and he decided it just wasn't something he wanted to do anymore, and we kind of had a conversation for a while that it was something I was kind of thinking of doing. So that's pretty much how I came to do it myself. And yeah, I do take breaks, as you mentioned earlier. I do take breaks over at Christmas. I just find it easier because I do have 4 children, so I try to keep holidays separate. So Easter time, Christmas, and the first few weeks of like the big 6-week break that we get, I tend to not stream at all during those times. I tend to keep it term time only. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun almost 18 months.
Well, that's come around fast.
I know. It's crazy.
Time flies.
Yeah.
It does.
Unlike
It does.
a sort of similar thing. I mean, I guess you can tell this is kind of the case because, you know, I've invited you all on the show and stuff, but I'm really glad that all of you have got into streaming and that you're all here doing your thing. Because I think you all do like a really good job, like, you know. What about you, Snow? Have you said why you sort of
So,
got into it?
for me, I started streaming because one of my exes was like, hey, you should start streaming. You'd be really good at it. Because at the time, I was just a mod for multiple friends, and I didn't want to start because I didn't have a mic. And I was like, I'll just be a muted streamer. When I started, I was playing Tetris. And then I was doing that inconsistently, and then I tried to stream unpacking at some point. That did not work because unpacking is a hefty game for some reason.
Just like unpacking a real house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you wouldn't think a game about organizing would be so heavy on the computer. But to be fair, when I started, I was using a 3-year-old laptop that was struggling because I had also ran a lot of 3D modeling programs. But I used streaming as like a little outlet for me time that I could pick up, put down, and also be able to connect with my friends more online.
That's fair.
I do have a question for you two. Just out of curiosity, what made you sort of levitate, you know, more towards like the VTuber side of things? Like,
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just I only really know 2 people in our community who use the VTuber, and I'm just fascinated by it. Everyone's like little models look so adorable, and I love it. Like, how much of your characters are based on you specifically?
So my character's personality is based off of me, because I don't care to put an act on whenever I stream. But as far as like physical features, almost none of it, minus the fact that she's a little bit on the shorter side, are based off of me. I could tell you that most of my personal VTuber came up as parts of what I liked. I liked the minty blue color. I like having long hair. Braids are really nice because I don't have to put them up in a bun or in a ponytail and like have that dragging down on the weight. And then I have a fascination with suits. I love them so much. And I think they're so pretty. And then also my fascination with particularly sharp objects.
Sorry, just quick before you go on to yours, Ains. I really like with Snow is that her model changes but like there's so many different variations of it. Like you sort of see, is it your Twitter picture where it's like the big elegant, like it's not like a chibi thing with like the sword and the thing. And then you have like this chibi you're using today I've never seen before, but it's really cool. And then I love that on your stream you've got like the one with the big rosy cheeks, and then you've got the one working at the desk, and it's just like there's just so many different. There's like a Snow for every occasion. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I like that.
Sorry, go ahead. Ains.
Well, for me, growing up, my mom didn't really like being watched when she was eating and just like being watched in general. So that kind of like I learned from that. So I don't like showing my face a lot. So with on top of that, once again at the start of the pandemic, I started watching VTubers, and I really enjoyed their content. I was like, it'd be cool if I also got my own model. And then eventually I commissioned someone for it, and it's funny because I commissioned them, like I started talking to them like about the model, but I did not have any idea what I wanted exactly. So, but I am a big fan of like supernatural stuff. So I told them that I wanted something that was like an Oni/Angel character, and they pretty much just ran with it and showed me what the sketch of it, and I was like, I really like this design. And I guess the only other thing I kind of added onto it was the spider lilies and the butterflies. As for personality, is like Snow said, is just myself. The only real features that I see that has similar to me would be the longer hair. Well, not white, unfortunately, not yet.
No, I think you and your model share the handsome factor. You're very handsome, I can tell you that. And I'm sure Blue agrees.
Like I've actually never seen Ains' face in person, but I have seen photos of it, and he is handsome. Like I looked at him and I was like, this man looks like an author. He looks like he should write books. But
apparently, if it's okay, Blue/Tony wants to have a quick word.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I was just gonna say that's for damn straight.
Yeah.
But yes, other than that, like, I don't know, I was just fascinated with the idea of having like a model that just followed your movements and everything and all like that, and the whole like, I guess, delving into like a fantasy story involving the character as well. And I mean, funny enough that you say that about writing, TK. I do enjoy writing. I just haven't done it recently.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember seeing you, and I was like, I can picture this photo on the back of a book, like. But it's cool. No, I always think VTubing is really interesting. Like, and this. I know you have sort of said that you don't want to do a character, but I mean, one of the VTubers I'm friends with, she very much leans into the. I can't remember what the word for it is, but like, where she has the role, and it's like that is her. It's not like the person and the VTuber are separate. It's like they have the same thing. And she like puts on like a persona, I guess, for her VTuber, and it's very cool.
I admire that people that can do that.
Yeah, I can't remember what the word for it is. They did tell me, and there's like a word that means that you are that role, but that's annoying.
That's fair. I have a little more to add on, like as to the reason that I picked VTubing. I am very self-conscious with how I look. I have slight body dysmorphia, and so looking at my face and seeing it on another screen really bothers me to the point where like I would rather smash the camera than look at myself.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a struggle to cope with seeing myself in the idea of other people watching me.
That's fair. Could you not, I guess, maybe use it as some form of like, he says knowing nothing about like having your issues or anything, but like, could you not use it maybe as a mild therapy sort of thing to kind of get through that? Like,
I do.
Okay.
Because my VTuber is my imagination of what I would want to be more similar to.
Yeah.
I would love to have the lighter blue colors as my hair and longer, to be able to be like big puffy braids, because that would be amazing. It's like that body to the hair. And the one thing I do like is only my hair on my real body. Like, I love how my hair looks most of the time. But I would love to be what I embody my character to be.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's nice that you've used it as kind of like an image of what you'd like to be. That's fun. I sort of wanted to generally ask people, what with it being the season and all, is what's everyone's Halloween's plans coming up? Do you all do Halloween?
Yeah, I do Halloween. Yeah. I think I'm dressing up this year as Totoro, the forest spirit.
Yeah. I mean, that's not scary, but it is adorable.
It's adorable. I'm gonna be wearing a onesie for trick or treating, and I know a lot of people say like after a certain age don't trick or treat anymore. It's just weird. I'm like, no. It's exercise and free candy. Fight me.
Isn't Halloween more of like a bigger deal though over there rather than here? It's just sort of like, okay, I guess stick some pumpkins out, make sure we've got sweets, and then maybe the neighborhood kids will knock on your door.
It is pretty big here, at least where I am. We do have... My state specifically has like a similar event that's closer to Easter.
Wow.
Where we wear masks and do parades. So having that spooky-esque type things really relates back to some of our other cultural things.
Okay. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do wish that like we do have like a house nearby that kind of goes all out. Like sometimes I do wish that when it came to like Halloween, you know, everybody was a bit more, I don't know. I feel like the Americans make Halloween look really fun, whereas we're kind of like, ugh, okay, I suppose we better go buy a costume. I suppose we better go find some sweets before every shop sells out. I suppose we better put a pumpkin out.
Well, so our thing is,
gonna go
right, we don't put a pumpkin out because then you get trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so that's the thing in the UK is if you put a pumpkin,
that's actually a rule.
Yeah, if you put a pumpkin outside your door, it means you are okay with people knocking and trick-or-treating. If you don't put a pumpkin out, they shouldn't knock on your door.
Yep.
So for us, it's porch lights. If your porch light isn't on, that means you don't have any candy. If your porch light is on, people automatically assume have some candy. Either come knock on the door, or they set a bowl out for people. And also, Halloween is a big event for cosplayers. There are a lot of them that make their own costumes, and it's very nice. And they don't only use them for Halloween, but they use Halloween as a peak time to display their cosplays outside of cosplaying events.
That's fun.
Without getting weird looks.
I don't know why you would give them weird looks. They're not hurting you.
No, exactly.
I have a friend that she entered a Halloween contest for her workplace, and she did like a really like unique looking Mystique kind of costume where it was like half of her was herself, and then the other half was like blue Mystique, you know.
That's cool.
And then
That's really cool.
everybody else's costume was like, not to like bash on them, but everybody else's costume was like okay,
Yeah.
and she lost that contest just because it was mostly older people and they did not know who Mystique was, and I guess they just couldn't appreciate her cosplay.
But I mean, that shouldn't matter if they don't know who the character is. If she's like clearly got a very good costume, I don't know.
She did.
But yeah, I guess like Halloween is a bit more of like I guess to a lot of people, the trick or treating at least is just an annoyance to a lot of people.
It is, because around here, it's kind of like they come so early.
Right.
I could be cooking,
Yeah.
I could be cooking dinner, and then next thing you know, you just see a group of kids, and I'm like, I haven't even got the stuff ready, and there's no way you could leave a bowl outside.
No, because the
Because
first kid would have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They will literally empty it into a bag and be done, and then you've got
So-
nothing.
Here, it's like an unspoken rule. If you see a bowl, you only take at most 2. If you take the whole bowl, you're a little shit,
Yeah.
and nobody's gonna want you. Here, it's also we start at about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock because it's for school kids mostly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's it. That's why they come early because it's.
Normally about 4:30, 5.
Oh really? I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's
oh.
so annoying. I'm
if,
literally, like,
if that's
dishing
the
up
case,
dinner.
I would ignore them. I would take the pumpkin inside, wait till it's 6 o'clock, and then put the pumpkin back outside.
Yeah. Then the only annoyance is that sort of like between that time is when I'm out trick or treating, and the older ones obviously in their own little world, so they may be listening to music or watching YouTube or maybe with me. Dances is working and he's got his work headset on, so he's not going to be seeing what's going on outside. So that 1 hour where they are coming early, it's kind of like, oh, okay, fine, here you go. Then it's like, oh, I don't actually have to worry about all these kids banging on my door and no one answering to them. There's an annoyance, but at the same time, it's like, okay, this works out good. It's when it gets to 9 o'clock, and it's like, come on, why are you still knocking on the door?
Yeah.
At that point, if it's later than about 8 o'clock, I would be like, don't answer the door.
No, I don't.
Don't answer the door.
I'll
Pull the
bring the
pumpkin
pumpkin in.
inside.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like for us, it's for specifically in my neighborhood, we have set times, so everybody comes out at once, everybody goes back at once,
I
and
think that's like we should do.
what we do is we have an event that's from 6 to 8, so you get a 2-hour period to do all your trick or treating. Because my neighborhood isn't big, but it's not small either. So we have enough time to at least hit up half the neighborhood. And if you're fast, you can hit up the other neighborhood that's connected to ours.
So when you say neighborhood, is it like street or within like a block of each other, or just one big street of houses? Because like we wouldn't say a block or anything. We would say like our street. We'll go down the road. We just go to down the road. We don't sort of say like. So, yeah. What is it?
For us, it's a street with a lot of houses.
Okay.
Like,
So like what we would call an estate, I
yeah,
guess. Yeah.
kind of. So we get our own little road that's for the neighborhood specifically, and then from there it can branch off into different smaller roads. And we'll have houses all around the roads, and then everybody gets their own plot of land, a house, and, utilities, and then there you go. That's your house. That's what you own, is your lot with the building and everything. And after that, it's everything else is either somebody else's property or the property of neighborhood.
Okay, similar to what we call estates.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think
more
so.
houses, bigger, and things like that. Yeah.
The other thing you see over here would be like every few blocks or so, there's probably like a house that's doing like a haunted house type of deal.
Yeah.
And like on top of that, they have like amusement parks, like doing like horror themed things where they have like scare actors trying to scare people and everything, and like
Wow.
Well, our amusement parks do horror
Yeah.
nights, but they're
Not brave enough. Yeah.
they're very expensive, and Our ones have a lot stricter health and safety than the American ones. From what I hear, the American ones are much cooler.
Yeah, they don't. They're not allowed to touch you.
No, but
Yeah,
they
no
can.
touchy.
Yeah, they're not allowed to touch you here either,
But-
but they are allowed to run straight up to you. You have to buy a
Yes.
specific lanyard that sort of glows in the dark, and if they see that, they can't touch you. And then it's kind of like, I just want to ride roller coasters in the dark. I don't want
Yeah.
to see somebody running down with a pretend chainsaw or something.
Yeah, so there's if you guys have TikTok, there is a specific like group of people that do scare acting, and they're very cool. They're like clown themed. There's one person who has like knee pads and elbow pads, and he'll come crawling up on the floor, basically running at you. And he'll jump up and clap the ground.
No, I
It's
can't
very
do that.
cool when you're watching outside an outsider perspective. But if you were that person, you'd be like, "Holy fuck!" Sorry for my language.
It's okay. You're allowed to swear here. It's
I have such a fear of fast crawling, especially after watching like the Grudge movie and things like that. I think I would run away. I would actually run away
A lot of
crying.
people scream or they run away. Actually, one of our friends, Sleepy Me, she's a scare actor. That's her job.
Oh wow.
She gets to be like a ghoul basically. She's not running up and screaming at people, but she's at the exit of a haunted house basically, and she'll spook people by like catching them off guard.
It's the best way. Oh, the relief, there's the exit, and then boo.
yeah. Whereas here we just scare people with the gift shop prices.
No. Don't even get excited. I went to Thorpe Park a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
It's like
no.
one of our big theme parks, and just photos alone can be really expensive.
Yep.
So you just get like the £20 deal, and then you can just digitally download them. Wait, £2.50 for a bag of Haribo? I don't think so.
No.
£3 for a bottle of Coke? No, thank you. £15 for a
Oh wait.
No, thank
Right.
you.
Okay. I'm gonna. Sorry, just because you said about that, it's just reminded me. You guys can all play my fun game. So, a couple of weeks ago, me and Katie went to stay at a very like posh, fancy hotel in the Cotswolds, which is like it's kind of like a big area where it's like lots of like fields and nice area, like no houses around and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all like nice rural landscape and stuff. Pretty place to go for a walk. But my parents had brought us a night away as my birthday present. So we were staying in this fancy hotel that realistically we could never have afforded to actually stay in. Had a really nice dinner and stuff. And then we were like, well, as we're here, we might as well go have a couple of drinks in the bar before we go back to the room and stuff, Do you want to take a guess how much a single rum
20 minimum.
Yeah, how much 2 single rum and cokes cost us?
Oh,
2
God.
rum and cokes.
Yeah, bear in mind that they do automatically add a 10% tip, which I guess is maybe a more normal thing in America.
Oh.
When you say
Oh, and that's not normal here, is it?
No.
So,
when you say 20,
Rough.
when you say 20 minimum, do you mean $20? Because I can convert it for you.
So like for me, the idea of that
Okay.
would be a minimum of $20 USD.
Yeah.
It's just like not including the 10% tip. I would say probably at least $25 then.
Okay, $25 as pounds.
surely it's not in double figures.
Is 20
I was going to say like £7.50, like £7.50, £8.
Wait, but there was 2 of them. So
Two, yeah, each. So yeah.
So about-
I reckon
about
around
16.
£8 each.
okay, so about £16. So $25 is £20.62. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say 56 pounds.
About what? Sorry.
56 pounds.
56. Okay. Well, it wasn't that high, thankfully. But Snow was the closest.
Oh.
With 20
Because I've been to higher end hotels, and just based off of the fact that you were at a higher end hotel, they probably had, and if they had a bar, automatic tip.
Yeah.
They probably have the higher end rum.
No, they didn't have the higher end rum. There was no.
Really?
No, it was a pretty.
So there's just inflation.
It's pretty standard rum. Basically, there's like rich people. 99% of their customers, I imagine, are so rich it doesn't matter what you charge them. And there's also the fact that where it's quite a rural hotel, there isn't anything within walking distance that you could go to, like as an option. You're kind of captive market. But it cost us $19.23 for 2 drinks, which is, well, I mean,
That's a hefty price.
maybe about $1 less than what you guessed, Snow. It was pretty. You were pretty spot on.
Yeah. Cause honestly, cause I don't drink. I just know prices roughly. It's just the proof of the alcohol and mixing it will make it split because it's a cheaper liquid. And you have less alcohol, so you don't have to spend as much technically from the business side.
Well, it's still a standard
the
measure.
atmosphere.
The shot is still a standard measure, so that doesn't change. The alcohol doesn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a cocktail bar in America where they just go whee. And they are. Yeah, our,
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
yeah. Our alcohol is measured.
From
It's like this
bars,
much.
It's like I learned from some video bars that occasionally, instead of using a measuring cup, they'll just go straight into the mixer cup.
Yeah.
And they'll just count the seconds from the moment it pours down. And you'd be like 1, 2, 3, and that's an ounce. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
That's
just use the measuring cup.
Well, they probably work at somewhere fun, right? That's the way to get much more drink in it, and drunk people tip better. And obviously in America, tips are a really big thing. So
Tips are a huge thing.
Yeah.
It's devastating to the industry because I've known some really nice people who were waitresses or waiters back when I was still working my job in high school. I knew some really nice people, but tips are how they get paid basically, and I'm just like, that's not enough to be a living wage. You're doing more than what a living person should do.
Yep.
I know people complain about like minimum wage here, but that is the one thing that a waitress, just any waiter, will have. They won't have to rely on tips. 9 times out of 10, tips aren't actually allowed. If there's a tip involved, it's like shared between everybody at the end of the month.
Yeah, so some places do that here, where you don't get your personal tip, and it gets pooled in. So if there's a bad person as a waiter or a waitress, you get less money than you're supposed to for doing better service.
Yeah.
Which I find it really really messed up whenever somebody has to suffer because of somebody else's attitude.
Yeah.
Especially in the service industry here, because they get paid much less than minimum wage.
They do.
Because companies claim that they're supposed to earn their pay via tips. In the culture in America, makes it so that if you don't tip, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
But how much are you supposed to tip? Is it supposed to be based off service, just based off the price? Most people say 20%. And I'm just like, but that's such an arbitrary number, and I don't want to be rewarding somebody's bad behavior.
No. I think the standard thing here is to tip. It's like 10%, isn't it? If you do leave a tip. But also...
and 9 times out of 10, if you leave a tip, it's sort of left between everybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to the initial person that, say, served you, because 9 times out of 10, the same person isn't serving you.
No. But I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, if I go out for a nice meal, I can't afford to give 10% as a tip.
No.
Right?
I know that sounds awful, but
that's how it is. I mean,
that's fair. A lot of people in America now, like especially young adults, or people who are in, let's say, college, do not have the money to tip. They just have enough to eat.
Yeah.
That's it.
In
other countries like Asian countries, if you tip, it's an insult because you're saying the employer is not paying their employees enough.
Yeah, I heard that. I
That's
heard
cool.
about that, actually.
In Japan, it's like that.
When I went to Mexico, they were like, we stayed at an all-inclusive place, and we were told, like, even though it's all-inclusive, like, obviously because it's all-inclusive, don't tip every time, but just every now and again, just give them a tip anyway, because Mexico is such a tip, like, heavy culture. So it's like, even though everything they give you is free, just every now and again, just give them like few dollars anyway.
They might give you extra stuff.
Well, it doesn't.
Yeah, it might not be included.
Well, maybe.
I learned recently that you're supposed to tip your valet, like the person who goes to park your cars and brings it back for you at the end of your trip. And I'm just like, I mostly park myself, so I've never I park for myself or I park it's at a hospital. So like I don't have the money to be tipping because I have to go to a doctor's appointment, and normally I'm rushing in and out so I can do other things in my life. I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I'm a broke student.
I know that I think recently what people have been doing for like restaurants and stuff like that is they try to get the person that's serving them, they try to get their, like, if they have a Cash App or a Venmo, and then they just directly tip them that way.
Yeah.
So then they don't have to have the whole
I
thing going on.
can't imagine being there sat going, excuse me, waiter, what's your PayPal? I'll just
What's your PayPal? Let me PayPal you some money.
I can't remember her name, but there was a TikToker that I randomly came across, and all her tips at the end of the night depended on her attitude. If she was like happy, had enough skin showing, she gets 50% of her tips. If she wasn't happy enough or bright and bubbly, she only gets 40% of her tips. It's like, shouldn't she get all her tips? And his thing, the apparently like the manager's sort of like response was, well, how am I supposed to keep the place running?
With the money that you get from the food.
Yeah, not your staff.
Yeah.
Don't.
And they don't have like a specific wage. Literally anything they make from tips is what they're going home with. So it's like,
but it's only
you're
50%.
literally taking away. Yeah, you're taking away their, and most of them are probably students because they need the money.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, it's ridiculous.
I know here they're not allowed to automatically write in a tip because that's illegal, because that's taking money without your consent. That's why you have to read the receipt correctly. And it's just like, why would you do that in the first place? Because that's taking money without consent.
No.
Like, even if there's a signature, that it's not technically consent because you wrote it down before they could even think about it. I've known for some people, or this happened in certain restaurants, where they would take a tip regardless of whatever the person paid. And that was a big, like, shit fest, basically. But that was a couple years ago. I think it was pre-pandemic, if I remember correctly.
This is a
I guess because of the pandemic, everything was closed. So how are they supposed to make any money? Because I guess they didn't furlough. You're not going to furlough someone you're not really paying, are you?
Yeah.
No.
So,
Let's see. I quit my job as the pandemic hit because A, I was starting college soon, and B, I wasn't gonna make any money from being employed when I can't do any work, because I worked in the service industry. I was customer service, but I was mostly behind a computer, so that was a plus side to my specific role at my job. But there's also the fact that a lot of restaurants specifically closed down if they didn't have the backing to keep going, because there were so many small businesses that shut down because they couldn't make money, they couldn't make ends meet, they couldn't pay for rent, because most people don't own their own lot anymore, especially with the real estate values and all that.
Yeah, we had the same, loads of businesses shut down over the couple of years, but
and all restaurants, fast food, coffee shops, they all had to close anyway because they weren't considered essential.
Yeah.
They only really opened them up, was it nearer to the summer, wasn't it? Because they brought in that half price Monday to Wednesday.
Yeah, and it was all takeaway only. You couldn't go and sit in.
Yeah. So you'd go to McDonald's and it was limited menu as well. So most of the things you liked wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was kind of pointless. And then when you were allowed to go inside, queues outside, so it was just easier to order
Yeah.
on the app takeaway.
I remember the first day the McDonald's round the corner from where I work opened, after like it had been shut for a year, and it suddenly opened, and the entire like town came to a like gridlock. Like there was
Yeah,
genuinely
I may not have been in one of those.
people were queuing for like 3 hours in traffic to get a McDonald's, and it's like, I mean, McDonald's is fine, but it's not that nice. Like,
No, but when you hadn't had it in like 9 to 10 months, and it was like, my brother was like, "Hey, do you want to go get McDonald's?" Yes, I do. 2.5 hours
There's
later.
also the time sink fallacy, where basically you think that after X amount of time, it's not worth it to leave because you've already sunk in so much time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Through.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yes, but no. I could have gotten 2 meals in the time that I was waiting for McDonald's.
yeah, that's it. I don't know. Like it was just like there's all these people queuing for McDonald's, and I'm like, there's literally a KFC opposite and a Burger King across the road. Like, just go to one of them. Like,
It's a funny thing though, because like, for me, you've got like a drive-through McDonald's and a drive-through KFC. The KFC wasn't as long of a line, but McDonald's, you'd think like the Queen was in town or something.
yeah.
The amount of cars just everywhere. So it's like, oh, let's go to KFC. Oh, I don't like chicken. So it's okay, fine, McDonald's it is. Yeah, it was crazy. And I don't like Burger King anyway.
No, I'm not a big Burger King fan, but I'd much rather go to KFC than McDonald's.
Yeah, these days.
Oh, well, actually, no.
Bored of McDonald's.
Actually, recently I wouldn't, because at least the KFC around the corner from my house, they often undercook their chicken, and you're waiting about. It's not even fast food, because you go there and they've only got one person working on till, so it takes you about 2
That
hours
sounds
to.
like Domino's.
Yeah, it takes you about an hour and a half to get stuff. Oh, you see, the Domino's next to us is really good.
Ours is rubbish.
Yeah, but yeah, the KFC.
We had to wait an hour and a half for a pizza once.
Wow.
We called them asking where it was, and they literally were like, "Oh yeah, we're just doing it now. We're really busy." 5 minutes later, somebody's at the door of our stone cold pizza.
Yeah.
So we just don't order from there anymore.
No, I don't get to the KFC near us anymore because it's rubbish. It's just a shame. The KFC near us actually got shut down recently because its hygiene wasn't good enough.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That says it all.
Yeah, that's it. It got a 1-star hygiene rating. And I've been to some really dirty places that don't have better than a 1-star hygiene rating. So it was shut for a couple of months. It has reopened now, but yeah.
Surely not with a 1-star rating now.
I don't know what it is now. I haven't checked, but it was a big scandal in local news. It's like, oh, KFC shut down because it's really dirty and they don't cook their chicken.
Oh god.
They use the same grease from the past days.
I mean, probably.
Be surprised
But,
these days.
That's why the gravy tastes so good. It's like, have you?
It's aged grease.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, when they do that, they show those like videos of like KFC gravy being made to try and put people off, and I'm like, it is nice though. Like they did, there was the thing ages ago when it was like they did it where they boiled all the liquid off of a Coke and you got all the syrup at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
To be like, this is what you're filling your body with, and it's like, yeah, but that syrup looks great. Like, I'd eat that.
Yeah, that's true.
Not to mention, whenever you boil, like, if you were to boil liquids, it's not the same as when you put them in.
No.
Because, so there's the water that you have from the carbonation, right?
Mhm.
And then there's the water from the syrup, because there's going to be water in it.
Mhm.
There's also the sugars. And if you boil it incorrectly, you burn the sugars, you take off more water than what you originally had. And then, not to mention the preservatives, you're gonna burn those as well, and those release different kinds of toxins depending on how you play around with them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I guess on a more positive spin from this, so what's people's go-to fast food?
Fish and chips.
Fish and chip, nice.
Well, sirloin chips.
German sausage.
I think
takeaway. It is
burgers.
that.
Burgers.
Yes, I love me some good burgers.
Yeah, if I can get a good
Yeah.
burger, I'm happy. A good burger and fries.
Wait, so
Best thing in the world for me.
again, they don't have them in the UK, but the thing that I always see is like the White Castle burgers. Like as a big thing in America.
I've heard about those, but like, so literally the patty has holes in it to make them cook better.
So that's less
And
burger.
so it doesn't shrink. There's more bread than there is burger.
Yeah, well,
we'll be honest.
This is what I was going to say about them. They always go on about how nice they are, but they're like this big. Like they're really tiny.
They're very thin.
They are.
And I'm always like,
In-N-Out burger that I'm intrigued by.
an In-N-Out burger.
I've heard
Yeah.
that In-N-Out isn't as good as people make it out to be.
Everybody's
In-N-Out
like,
is
In-N-Out
alright.
is better than McDonald's or Wendy's.
Oh, you see, I've never been to a Wendy's either.
Wendy's
I know
chili
some
is
of them
good.
are starting to open up here though,
Yeah.
but it won't be the same.
I think in the end it's just up to like personal preference.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I won't say In-N-Out isn't good, but I wouldn't say it's like one of the best. And then
I've been to a
With
Shake
White
Shack
Castle.
once because they opened one near here.
one near you.
And yeah, they opened one near me, and we didn't. Mind you, we didn't have one for the longest time. And I was like, one, the burger is dry. It is nasty now. And it's tiny. And the shake was not shake consistency because it was supposed to be like a custardy kind of ice cream
Ooh.
that's been mixed into a shake. It was like, it's not.
Oh.
It was liquid. And I was like, this is sad.
So speaking of things that have opened near me, there's a Taco Bell near me, and I've still never been to Taco
Taco
Bell.
Bell.
No, haven't been to ours.
No. Well, I say near me, it's in like the nearest city, but it's only like a 20-minute
Yeah,
drive.
same.
Like but even when I'm in town, I've never been like, I've never been like, we should go get Taco Bell. But like, I know it's a really big thing in America. Like, obviously, Hal basically lives on Taco Bell,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I should really try
I
it.
actually have, I have a Taco Bell near me that's about, at most, 5 minutes away from me. And then I think there's a couple more in an opposite direction. We also have Sonic and Dairy Queen and Papa John's. I don't know if you guys have that.
We have Papa John's. We don't have Sonic or Dairy Queen.
See-
I don't even know what Sonic is. What's the? And that,
Sonic isn't a
Burger
fast
place, isn't
food.
oh, it's a little blue
actually-
hedgehog,
It's
right?
not burgers, it's more hot dogs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense because Sonic's favorite food is chili dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, got you.
Okay.
Right.
So as far as pizzas go, I prefer Papa John's. But I know there are people who like Pizza Hut, or there are people who like Domino's. I'm like, but Papa John's has really good crust.
So
I really like their crust.
we have. I'm actually. So I don't typically like pizza because I don't like tomato or cheese, which So pizza is not.
Two main ingredients.
Yeah. I mean, recently I did try a barbecue pizza from a Domino's, and it was actually and I just got it with no cheese on, and that was actually really nice. Because I'm only recently coming around to barbecue sauce, so
Barbecue sauce on pizzas.
it was really good.
I like it.
I did find a couple of places that do pizza near me where you can get jalfrezi sauce on your pizza,
What's that?
spicy curry sauce.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, that sounds good.
yeah, so I've had those loads of times, and anytime we get pizza. But Katie doesn't like the pizza place that does it. She's very she's very much a Domino's person, which is.
Nice.
But yeah, so I've recently
No,
decided that I can have Domino's barbecue pizzas, and they're okay.
Domino's over here does I don't know if it does it for y'all over there, but they also give like the option for like Alfredo sauce.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't do that. It's tomato or
That-
barbecue.
I had Alfredo
Yeah.
sauce, and I think
I don't know what
I think
Alfredo
there's
sauce
another
is.
one.
I'm gonna look it up.
What's an Alfredo sauce?
Alfredo sauce is like it's a white creamy sauce that you use with Alfredo pasta.
It's like a lasagna sauce.
Yeah, it's like lasagna
Yeah,
sauce.
it's okay.
It's
I
a
assume it's like
cream
what we
base
call-
instead of
White sauce.
Yeah,
it's a white
Yeah.
sauce.
like what we call a roux, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know if it has flour in it. I can't remember. But Alfredo is pretty yummy. Tangent. The pasta is really good. I've never had Alfredo sauce on a pizza.
Maybe you should give it a
I've never
go.
had anything other than tomato sauce, actually.
I love.
This
tomato sauce.
is your homework, is to go and try pizza with all the different sauces and then report back.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
For pizza, I would usually stick with Domino's most of my life.
Mm.
But then like the one that was near where I used to live kind of downgraded in quality, and I ended up trying out like a local place, and we stuck with that. Then recently, like maybe a year or two ago, I started eating Little Caesars.
Mm.
And that was okay. Then I found out they had like something they call, it sounds weird, but they have something called the extra most bestest. Basically it's
Extra
just
most
extra.
bestest.
I know it's like, yeah, but they have it where it's like extra cheese, extra sauce, extra pepperoni, and then you can have the option to have a stuffed crust, and then I get a side of marinara sauce and just eat it like that. I actually just was eating that earlier today.
That sounds
Nice.
similar to a few towns over from us. There's like a pizza place that it's not a branded one, but they have the best pizza. Like
Yeah.
when you pull it apart, the cheese just rips apart.
So-
The pepperoni fits, the crust is perfect. I'm not a fan of the cheese crust anymore. It's a bit too sickly because it's a very heavy based cheese pizza. Lots of pepperoni and it's all inside the cheese as well.
So
It's
I watch on YouTube a couple of competitive eaters because I think it's really interesting to watch, and like what but they always talk about, and it's a good cheese if with the cheese pool.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
literally what it's like. It's amazing.
English cheese pool.
The cheeses that have the best cheese pull are mostly like fresh based cheeses. It's like mozzarella or just softer cheeses typically because they have the higher moisture content.
Yeah.
So
But-
they melt better and they stringy pull. It's really good.
But I think that's the thing, isn't it? Well, as much as everyone knows all the branded places and they do well because they're the branded places, local takeaways that usually make better food.
Local is typically better because they you build better connections with them and they'll make better food because of that, because they'll take your input and they'll put it to use.
But like we've got an Indian not too far down from ours, and their curries are amazing. Like they're always our go-to Indian. And I had Indian from like a different curry place recently, and I was just like, this is shit, and I should have got it from my normal place. I'm just so disappointed in myself.
Always the way though. You want to try somewhere else that has something that you like, and then you're like, nah, I should have gone to
Yeah.
that place.
Well, I was at my friend's house, and like, so it was closer to where he was, so it was like it would deliver quicker.
Yeah.
So I went for that, and then I was just eating, and like, also I always find where Indian's a bit more expensive if you're ordering it for yourself, like just the one of you. You might as well order double, and then you've got some for another meal because it works out cheaper than just getting one person's worth of
Yeah.
stuff. So I ordered I was like, right, I'll get 2 curries, a side, and a big rice, and some naan bread, and I can have half of it now and half of it tomorrow. And we're all good. And I was eating the first half, being like, I have to eat half of this tomorrow.
The only kind of like Indian food I've had was I think it's called like chicken tikka masala.
That is the standard
I
go-to.
hear that word so
Yeah, it is
often, and I'm like, I want to try
good.
it so bad.
It is very good.
Isn't it like our signature dish or something?
Yeah, it's technically the British national dish.
Yeah. I think it goes like fish and chips and tikka masala on the sort of same level. Funny.
I want to try chicken masala so badly.
I mean, it's nice, but I think it's very much like the introduction to Indian food. There are so many better curries, but that's like everyone's starting place is either a tikka masala or a korma.
So
Almost
I'm
too
Vietnamese,
sweet.
and we have certain curries. They're not curries, but like we have curry chicken,
Yeah.
which uses a lot of curry powder and stuff, a lot of the seasonings, and we make it with chicken. It's like yellow in color, but it's really tasty, and the sauce
Yeah.
is really good.
It's probably. Oh, I was going to say maybe it's more similar to a tandoori chicken, but it wouldn't be if it has sauce.
It's like a lot of like the local chippies all have sort of like a Chinese restaurant attached to it,
Yeah.
and their curry sauce,
Chip shop
their
curry sauce.
is amazing, but so is their curries, and you just can't find anything on that level.
It's because chip shop curry sauce is basically the same as katsu curry sauce.
Is it?
Yeah. Have you ever go to like a Thai or Japanese place and get katsu curry? It's basically the same sauce.
I will have to try that.
It's just they do it with rice and breaded chicken. It's katsu curry.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah. Is there a Wagamama near you? Because they'll do it.
A few towns over, yeah. Quite busy though.
It is busy, but
Busy.
that's because it's nice.
The only thing is, I don't think I could tolerate that place
No.
purely because I can't slurping. There's a lot of wet noodles.
They do a lot of ramen.
I
yeah.
love eating wet noodles.
I could eat them, maybe.
I could eat them and slurp the house down, but you other bastards. If you
No, that's the thing. I can't do chew. Like if people are chewing around me or slurping, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I would not do well in a Japanese restaurant.
Katie's the same. She hates the sound of like chewing and stuff. So you can tell if she's in a bad mood because she'll just like get angry at me while we're eating.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't help it. This is just how I eat.
Oh, no, I don't like it. It's like it's just I don't know what it is. It's just like the sound of slurping, chewing, opening it.
There's I can't remember what it's called, but I can look it up for you. But it's a specific condition that people have, like a mental tic, where the sound of eating like drives them mad.
Yeah. Don't like it. My eldest used to do that, and I used to not be able to eat in the same room as her because it would actually like nails on a chalkboard, that kind of cotton mouth kind of no, couldn't do it. Thankfully she doesn't do it anymore.
What is your thoughts on wet bread?
No,
Because that's another thing.
Actually,
What's bread wet with?
Water usually.
if it's in soup,
Ew.
like butter, like thick layer of butter
Yeah.
in like the big soups that have like the big chunks in, because they're not as wet.
Yeah.
It's more
but-
thicker. Then yes.
But no, I didn't necessarily mean to eat, but it's just like a thing a lot of people have, which I don't understand.
Bread.
Well, if they see wet bread, it makes them physically sick.
Of what
Oh, it
bread?
doesn't make me feel physically sick, but I do remember I'm showing my age now. Old school lunchboxes where the lids used to just be like a tumbler,
Yeah.
kind of similar to this, but without a straw, and that's how you would drink it. And sometimes they wouldn't close properly, and then the whole lunchbox would just be wet, and my sandwiches used to get wet.
Yep.
That's more what that reminds me of. Like half my lunchbox would be ruined. Just no, but it doesn't make me sick. It just doesn't look nice.
Yeah. Sweaty food is never ideal.
Yeah. No. The same with like my mum keeps her bread in the fridge. Why?
What? But yeah, it would get all condensed and.
Like, no, it
Surprisingly, it doesn't get wet.
Oh.
It's very
preserves it
hard.
better, but also like, why would you
Just
with bread?
I mean, like I can understand maybe putting it in the freezer,
Yeah.
but in the fridge is weird.
Even as a child, I remember bread was always in the fridge.
Wow.
And it was the one thing that when I had my own place,
Bread to be
bread is not going in the
cold.
fridge.
Yeah.
I like
So
my bread soft.
hey guys, do you want to have a cold hard sandwich? No.
When I go to make her lunch, I'm just like, oh, why? Why is it in the fridge?
Oh, that's strange.
It is.
Speaking of things in the fridge, so are you
No. Would have been put in the toaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you a ketchup in the fridge or ketchup out the fridge?
I will put the ketchup in the fridge.
Okay,
He won't.
right.
He will leave it out.
Do you have two ketchups then?
No.
No. You just have an argument. Okay.
I'm like, can you put the ketchup back? I don't eat it enough to really care that much.
All right.
But I'm pretty sure ketchup is meant to be in the fridge.
It depends on the ketchup, honestly. Like, some ketchups will say they need to be refrigerated, some don't.
I think all of ours do, don't they?
Do they? I mean, I would have thought there's enough preservatives and crap in it that it doesn't matter.
I think when the seal's off, that's considered open.
Yeah.
And that's when the air can get to it. Because obviously, it's on the shelf when you buy it.
Yeah.
But once it's opened, most of them that we've had says keep refrigerated. So I'll go, see? Keep refrigerated.
Interesting.
So we buy the Heinz.
Heinz, yeah.
Heinz ketchup.
Yeah.
Heinz ketchup meant for restaurants, so they're okay to be left out on the table regardless.
Oh, they're vinegar.
Because they have like the rubber seal. And so they seal the air. Additional air doesn't get in. You just squeeze it out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just one of those big arguments that a lot of people have, isn't it? It's just ketchup in the fridge or out the fridge.
Yeah, it's like there's this woman on TikTok who couldn't fathom that we don't put our eggs in the fridge.
Yeah. It's because
She used to live in America.
I mean, I never used to have my eggs. No, I used to have my eggs in the fridge as a kid, but I don't now.
Why?
My mum did.
Why?
Yeah, I don't now.
No, they're on the side.
Yeah.
The way we clean our eggs is rougher, and so it breaks down the enamel more.
Yeah, it's
compared to how you guys clean your eggs.
Yeah, I was gonna say American eggs do need to be kept in the fridge.
It's not to say one is better.
Yeah, they're white on the outside, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. As so technically, our eggs, if you put them in the fridge, makes them less good quality eggs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know much about
that. All you need to know is that it's a cracking situation to talk about.
Eggs.
You can have some. You can have some excellent conversation about. As long as you all agree, nothing goes foul. I'll stop.
That was an excellent joke.
Thank you.
For us, I know they go through a very vigorous factory cleaning process. Commercially bought eggs anyways. If you get farm fresh eggs and you just wash them gently, they don't have to go in the fridge. But if you buy the factory eggs, because the shell is so thin, it doesn't have the enamel anymore to be able to protect it. And so they gotta go into fridge, but they're also all the same in a lower quality because of how they farm eggs.
See here, you know when an egg is good quality because it's got the lion stamp on it? I think that also means they're from vaccinated chickens or something, and that means they are safe to eat, and they something to do with not having salmonella in them or something. So that was something.
They're less likely to have it.
There's another thing
because you can get it from eggs depending on how they're kept, and depend on how they're cleaned in the first place. It's a lot of factors, but it depends on what the egg is exposed to, and it's less likely
exposed
because the way you guys clean it.
Yeah.
It's less likely to get exposed after it's been processed, regardless, because if the hen's already been vaccinated, and then you don't vigorously take down the enamel on the shell, and you store it correctly, like in a dry place, stuff like that, where it can't sweat, then your egg is gonna be okay.
Yeah. So what I looked up about it, it's like around 90% of the UK use strict guidelines, and that's what the line stamp is, and that means your eggs are safe to use or something. So
isn't that the thing?
There used to be this thing that when you were pregnant, the yellow bit couldn't be runny. It used to have to be hard. So when I was pregnant with Sophie, they're like, oh, by the way, as long as it's got the Larian stamp, you can have runny eggs now. I was like, runny eggs on toast? Yes, please. I've never been so excited in all my life. Over a front coach.
Since it's the test with eggs as well, is if you shake them, if you can hear the inside moving, it's fine. If it doesn't make a noise, then it's a bad egg.
Yeah. Oh, and think about...
For us, the way you test them is you put...
floats or sinks.
Oh.
There's that as well. I can't
Water.
remember. I'll have to ask Dances that one. That's what
If
he
it
does.
floats, it's bad.
Yeah, I think that's it. And if it sinks, it's
Because
good.
if it floats, it means it has air.
That's it. Yeah, it has air in it.
In the yolk, because there's something has gone bad in the egg. Yeah. If it sinks, fine, theoretically. But if you have to test your eggs, I'd be suspicious regardless.
Have you
Oh no, we don't normally. Dances just wanted to try it one day because he saw something on YouTube. That was all.
have you ever had duck eggs?
No.
Oh.
I've had duck eggs. They have a slightly gamey flavor.
They're like a much richer. They're really nice.
Yeah.
But
Have you ever had balut, which is fertilized duck egg?
I don't think so. No.
It's very. It really depends on how your tastes are. But from what I've heard, it's tasty, but not like. It's not for every person.
Yeah.
I've tried it before. I'm not a huge fan of even the baby duck
No.
or chicken. It can be either of them.
I'm not a fan of duck in general, so I probably wouldn't like that.
No. I have a non-fertilized, like a normal egg, but for ducks is very nice. Because my aunt lives on a farm, so every time my parents go to visit her, we get duck eggs.
Oh, that's cool.
And quite often half a
I
lamb.
haven't tried. I'm quite fussy when it comes to trying things I'm not sure of.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
Speaking of
I don't know if it's
eggs,
like a child thing, but yeah.
speaking of eggs, there's this I'm pretty sure it's like for other cultures, but I know for sure it's a Mexican thing. Or like if someone has been having like negative vibes or like nightmares like frequently, they do this thing that I guess is considered like some kind of shamanic ritual, where they get an egg and they just like rub it along the person's body, and then they crack it and they put it into a glass, and they leave it on the bedside, and then once the yolk is like all dark, that would signify that it had absorbed all the negativity in the person's body and like all in the impurities.
It's interesting.
It sounds a very witchy vibe.
Yeah. It's definitely like you say, definitely a shamany sort of thing. But it's always interesting to like hear about those sorts of things. When
A lot of like
when I was in Mexico, I got blessed by a shaman.
I thought you were gonna say something like, you take the egg and you roll it on a black eye.
some black guy and it's healed. The swelling goes down, the color turns back to normal.
But it's like when people have colds. It's like in an onion in a sock or something.
That's because it's like got a strong aroma, isn't it? It's supposed to unblock your.
Yeah, but I can't even go to bed with socks on.
Well, you wouldn't have to wear it. You could just have an onion in the sock next to you. Or...
Oh, so it doesn't actually have to physically, because
I
on the
don't know.
videos I've always seen it's like cut an onion in half, put it in the bottom of your sock, put the sock on.
Or maybe
Then they come out and they're like all black and it's like ugh.
maybe don't do it while you sleep. Just while you're going about your day, just have an onion in your sock. Just while you're walking
I
around.
have to do a lot of walking.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that will mash it up and it will really get the fumes going and.
I'll stick to Vic.
Yeah.
Vapor rubber. Stick to that.
Yeah, that's probably a better idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, as you were saying about the fertilized duck egg, I've not heard of that, but what's like the strangest thing you've all eaten?
See, I've eaten a lot
Snails.
of things because of my heritage.
Yeah.
I think the weirdest one would be. See, I don't know what's weird anymore comparatively.
I guess maybe
I've had.
weird may not necessarily be the word, but like the least
Unique.
common, yeah, the most unique thing.
Let's see.
Because for me, I think, and I also would say it might have been the most delicious thing in my life I've ever eaten. But I've had mink whale, and
I just remembered from me. I mean, well,
Yeah, I had it in Iceland. Because it was one of those things we were sort of umming and ahhing. It's like, should we try whale? Because when else do you get the opportunity to do it? But technically, it's a bit unethical. But they were sort of saying in Iceland, it's like much better than like obviously in Asian places where they farm whales. Like in Iceland, they used to eat whale all the time, and they could do it sustainably. It's only been the last few years where their tourism has suddenly like boomed that now it's starting to get a bit non-sustainable. And I was sort of like, well, we're here for our like 10-year anniversary, and I was like, if I just have it this one time and never eat whale again, then as is a special thing, I think I can get away with it. And then I had it, and I was like, this is genuinely the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. But I've said I won't eat it again.
Oh no, so when you go back,
Yeah,
you can't eat any more whale because you said you wouldn't do it.
that's it. But it was really good. If it gets to the point where whale farming becomes more viable again, then I would love to eat more whale. And I would recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, I don't like seafood.
I don't like seafood. It doesn't taste like fish. It's really meaty.
So if your fish tastes fishy, then it's off. It's bad.
I think for me it's just walking past like in like supermarkets when they have like the open fishmongers and you can just smell all the fish and stuff. I think that
It stinks.
really put me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it does stink.
I'm not a seafood fan really, and when they added they took out the bit in Asda, like near me, where it does all the rotisserie chickens that smell amazing, and they got rid of that and replaced it with a sushi bit.
Oh no.
And then I was just like, and I'd walk past it gagging. I'd just like,
No, I can't.
No.
And in town, a new like fishmongers is opened,
Mm.
and it's just you got the butchers here.
Yeah.
So you've got all the meat smell, like fresh meat smell, and on that side you've got fish. So it's like, ugh,
Yeah.
stinky.
This is the stinky road where all the smells happen.
That's our new way to get into town now.
For me, I guess the most unique thing I've ever eaten was kangaroo jerky.
Nice.
Because over by me, there's like the port side, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And they have there's like a candy shop, and right next to the candy shop they had like basically a shop dedicated to jerky. And I was there with a couple of friends, and one of them came over to me and was like, "Here, you want to try this jerky?" I was like, "What kind of jerky is it?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "What kind of jerky is it?" He's like, "It's kangaroo jerky." I was like, you know what, let me try it. And I tried it, and it honestly tasted a bit like beef jerky.
I imagine with jerky, it's so like processed and stuff. It's probably doesn't really matter what animal it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what matters the most with jerky is what seasonings you use
Yeah.
to prep it. So if it's the same seasoning as you would beef, because honestly, depending on the beef doesn't have a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
No. Not once it's been like sort of cooked up and stuff to the extent that jerky has.
Yeah. Because normally what happens is you smoke it and then dry it and then you keep drying it until it's, all jerky.
Yeah. I've never had kangaroo jerky. I have had kangaroo steak. Because there's it's good. I'd say it's probably less good than like normal cow steak, but it's still nice.
I
But
didn't know you could eat kangaroo.
there's you can eat anything if you try hard enough.
Yeah. The only thing that you don't want to eat is emu.
Yeah.
'Cause it tastes really bad.
Oh.
Ooh.
Which is saying again, I've had ostrich, and I'd have thought it was similar to that. But yeah, there's a butcher's near me that specialises in strange animal steaks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a bit pricey, but like you can go there and try like really interesting things, and like they do like wild boar sausages, and like they've got like kangaroo or steak, ostrich steak, buffalo
That's kinda
steak.
cool, though.
Yeah,
I
That's
think
cool.
probably the most unique thing that I've eaten, it's not unique to me because I have it like almost every year, is blood sausage.
oh yeah.
Oh.
Again, I've never had. I had black pudding for the first time recently, but I've never had a proper blood. I've never had a proper blood sausage, but I've heard they're quite a thing in America.
So we eat a Vietnamese style blood sausage. So it's got the blood itself, herbs, mung beans, and there's a couple other things that I cannot remember to save my life. But it's one of my favorite things to eat whenever my mom makes it. Because sometimes we take it after it's been boiled and we fry it. So it's got a crispy edge and a nice soft inside. And just like, this is the best thing in the world. Please feed me more.
You're selling it, I'll be honest with you.
I love it so much. It's so good.
I think mine is the worst thing I've ever tried is frog's legs and snails. And I don't actually know what they're called, but when I was in year 6, we used to have like when I was in primary school, they used to have like, for the year 6s, you would actually get to try the food, and one of them was snails and frog's legs, and never again. Like the way they
Frog's legs taste like chicken.
No. Yeah, they don't. The big lie is that everything tastes like chicken, isn't it? Whenever people don't know how to describe something, they go, "Oh yeah, it tastes like chicken."
No,
No, they don't.
It's a flavour that I can't really explain, but it's not nice. It doesn't smell nice either. But the snails, it was weird because like they give you like this really weird type fork. It almost looks like a children's like play fork from like a tea set or something, and you kind of have to like pull it out and all this, and then there's like a weird sauce that you dip it in, and it's too slimy for me.
Yeah,
I don't. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't like it. It was too chewy. It was too chewy. It was.
No.
And again, they were like, "Oh, it tastes like chicken." No, it doesn't.
When I went to Vietnam as a kid, my parents had gone to a seafood place, and the only thing I remember doing is passing out in one of the hammocks that they had. Love sleeping in hammocks, by the way. 10 out of 10 experience. But my mom tried to get me to eat snail, and I refused. Because A, I don't like the idea of eating snail. B, it sounds like too much work.
It is a lot of work, and it's very slimy.
Not an experience I ever want to do again.
No.
Tried it at 11, never want to do it again.
The only other, I think, quite interesting thing I've eaten is I've had a fresh alligator.
Oh wow!
We had it because we had it in Florida, like at the Everglades, and we were at an alligator reserve, and ironically they served alligator at the cafe. I mean, like, say what you want.
Here to see some alligators. Would you like to eat one?
Yeah, well, that was it.
Would you like to eat some?
So, like, we had like an alligator burger, and my dad had like alligator, like, I don't really know how to describe it, but I guess like breaded alligator, and
alligator nuggets.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And the alligator nuggets taste a lot like scampi, just like a slightly more meaty scampi. And the alligator burger was alright. Scampi's
breaded fish, basically.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like somewhere in between a prawn and a fish. I'm not really sure. It's just a thing that they get
popular in chip shops.
Yeah, it's a thing they give to children at pubs. Like, I don't know.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, scampi's on most kids' menus at a pub, I think.
Oh God.
I don't know.
Honestly, I haven't been to a pub restaurant in such a long time.
Oh.
Our local one got shut down, and it's now some posh brewery place.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm not a wine person, so it's not good for me.
That's fair.
I do wine and beer.
All I would say to all of you after this conversation is, you know, if you ever happen to end up near my house and you want a home cooked meal, stop in and I'll make you some dinner. I make the best toad in the hole, by the way, just so you know. Right.
I've not had that in years.
And also, I love offering toad in the hole to Americans because it's just a lost concept. Right.
It's basically sausages cooked in like batter.
Yeah, but they don't know what Yorkshire pudding is either. They don't know what Yorkshire pudding is either.
Oh my. To be fair though, I never used to like Yorkshire puddings for a long time because my didn't know how to cook them properly.
Oh.
So I kind of got put off them, but I kind of eat them again. They have to be nice and crunchy,
Yeah.
not soggy and wet.
I want to try one.
Do it.
Yeah.
Come over. I'll make you some nice food.
If you've got any like British type, go try one.
I think the weirdest thing I've heard of
Mm.
is eel jelly.
Yeah, you see, I've never had eels, but I can't imagine I'd like them. But that was a really big thing, sort of about, I don't know, 150 years ago. That was kind of like the main meal, wasn't it? It was like eel pie and mash.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really big thing.
I forced Daya to look up
man.
an image of eel jelly because I made her really curious about it, and she's like, "Bleh,
Yeah,
why'd you show me this?" No, I'm like, I didn't show you. You looked it up.
it was like the meal of the Cockneys because you could get eels out the Thames.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but so
I,
sorry, yeah,
I'm not a big fan of like seafood either.
no,
So sushi is not really a thing I would go for. But I did try a roll that one of my friends suggested, and it was a dragon roll. When I ate it, and I was like, "Oh, this shit's good." And then later they told me that it was eel. I was like, "Well, I guess I like eel."
See, I've got a similar thing. So
So-
I don't eat seafood really, except for calamari. That's like my only thing.
Yeah, that's actually quite nice. I've only had it a few times.
Hmm. And it's just like,
Very salty, but
yeah.
very, very good.
And it's just like of all the sort of normal fish things that people eat, I'm like, nope, but squid. As long as you deep fry that shit, I'll have it.
I have onions. I can't stand onions, but love
I like
onion
eating
rings.
dried squid.
No, you see, I wouldn't eat fresh squid. I think that would be no. But
I've also had fresh squid. I enjoy it. Or not squid, but octopus.
all right.
Like boiled octopus. It's yummy. It's chewy. It doesn't have a fishy smell or anything, but it's like you dip it with fish sauce that has a little bit of pepper in it, and I think a little bit of sugar, and it tastes really good. But I'm also very biased.
Reminds me of this girl that I randomly found on YouTube once. She's from South Korea, and she just does like mukbangs, and she eats a lot, and most of it's like seafood based, and a lot of kimchi. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
No, that's right.
But there was one where she's like had like a whole octopus leg,
Leg, huh?
like tentacle. Sorry.
Hello, I'm an octopus.
But like,
Oh, it's Octodad.
Oh
you
my
literally
God.
just sort of fried it each way a little bit, and then just sort of just gored into it like thinking about this fat, and I'm just like, and she eats like full on, does not take a breath. She's like full on munching on this
Yeah.
thing. I'm just like, how are you eating that one that quick, just like this? And it's like, looks gross. But when she picks it up as well, like, because apparently they have muscle memory, so they move still.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, if it's fresh, they do still have that nerve ending
So when
memory.
she's picking it up, it's going like this, like.
I guess like a chicken, isn't it? If you cut a chicken's head off, it runs around for an hour still.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh yeah, yeah. If a chicken gets beheaded, it will run around for about
Is
an
that
hour.
what the term of headless, stop running around like a headless chicken?
Could be
Yeah.
where it comes from, probably. Yeah.
Oh,
There was
never
once
knew
upon a time a person who kept the headless chicken alive for I forget
Yes,
how long.
I was gonna say.
But, like they would tour it around.
Yeah, there was a really famous one, wasn't it? Because it wasn't quite
Yeah.
headless. It had like a little bit of its brain left, but it survived, and yeah, it lived for months.
oh wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it was mad. Right, so let's move on to the last part of the show. But before we do that, what's this chat show without a final ad break? I don't ever talk about it except for once every 2 months on this show, but I do have a throne if people ever want to buy me things. Please don't feel obliged or obligated, but I put on things that are nice little presents for Lyra, or little games that it would be fun to play on stream. So if anybody ever wants to, there is a link down there. You can do it. I only talk about it once every 2 months because talking about it makes me feel weird. But yeah, it's there if anyone ever wants to. Right, so I have asked to finish off the show. I've asked all of my guests to bring along a little story of something interesting from their lives. Who would like to go first? This is the bit where everyone goes quiet.
I can go first.
Sure.
If,
Go for it.
nobody else wants to.
Go for it.
Take the spotlight.
Yeah.
So, as you guys all probably know, I'm slightly violent. In high school, I used to be kind of a bully.
Mm-hmm.
So
A lot
there's
of
this
short
one
people are.
incident. Yeah, there's this one incident where somebody had annoyed the ever living hell out of me, and I had thrown a chair at them. Miraculously, I never got in trouble for that. And then I also proceeded to throw a pen, like a really heavyweight pen, at them, and I broke the pen.
Oh wow.
Did it break on them? Like, was it like a really cool thing where it's just...
Unfortunately, it missed them, and then it hit the wall.
Did that not make a mess or anything? Like,
No, it kind of, the mechanisms inside no longer work, so I just picked up the pen afterwards and I threw it away. No evidence.
yeah, oh, that's cool. We had one of our teachers at our school got suspended for throwing a chair at a student. But yeah,
I can imagine that.
that was a big thing. Like, you know, I don't know if it's just the same now. Like, I mean, it probably is, but like, I mean, I don't think kids have ever changed. I think kids will always annoy teachers, certainly in secondary school. But a lot of the teachers who worked at my secondary school when I was there were very angry people. And probably shouldn't have been working with kids. But never mind.
Yeah, sometimes you do question. You're this angry, why are you working with kids?
Yeah. But no, that's that is a pretty intense thing. It's amazing that you managed to throw a chair at somebody and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah, it happened twice.
The stupidest thing I got in trouble for at school is I wrote in my friend's logbook that he had to be excused from science because he had genital warts. And like I wrote that in his book, and then our teacher saw it and was like, "Ah, you shouldn't write like stupid things in your logbook. That's technically defacing school property." And I was like, "Yeah," and I was just like, "Well, it isn't, is it? Come on, let's be real." But yeah, that was a big thing. You know, never minding that in the other stupid things I had, like in my own logbook, there was a list of like things to do. One of the things was attach a cat to a firework. You know, and then on my history book, because we were studying cowboys, there was a doodle of a naked cowboy with a cow, and it just said, "This is what real cowboys were." Because, you know, like 14-year-old me thought that was really funny.
Oh god.
But yeah, schools are weird.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are. I think
Old times are some weird times.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing I got in trouble for, it's not because it's bad, because it was really stupid. I had giggled once during a morning assembly, and because I went to a Catholic school, we were doing prayer.
Yeah.
I was like, I giggled a little bit to my friend because we were at our lockers, and a teacher spotted me, my 4th grade teacher. And she's like, "You're in trouble." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
was this during prayer as well?
Yeah, she came up to me and she's like, you're both in trouble because you're giggling. I'm like,
How dare you
what a
not?
rude ass bitch.
Yeah, it's how dare you not take prayer seriously.
I got in trouble for someone else's littering.
That's uncool.
Literally, like coach trips. Worst thing everyone's in school trips, coaches. All the popular kids sit at the back. And this one time the teacher was like, "Right, you're going to be sitting assigned seats on the way back." And my chair happened to be where the popular kids had dumped all their rubbish on the way there. So because I'm the last one off, apparently it's my rubbish, I had a detention and I had to literally write 100 lines of "I must not litter." Eventually, there was CCTV on the coach. Eventually, the history teacher had admitted after my detention that he'd seen the footage and it wasn't me. He just didn't have the balls to tell my mum until she went marching down there. Like, how dare you give her detention for this? If she told you it wasn't her, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh yeah, we saw the CCTV footage and it wasn't her. And you still gave her an effort detention, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Same teacher.
I would have deducted pay. Be like, if you don't deduct pay, I'm gonna riot.
Oh, he was scary.
You should have made him write 100 lines of "I will not frame people for littering."
No,
Yes.
In our secondary school we had 2 scary teachers. He was the worst one. If you heard him coming, you need to make sure your skirt was a certain length, your top button was done up, your tie was appropriate, everything was tucked in. You knew that you saw as soon as you heard him and saw him, quick straighten up. Everyone, even the bratty kids, everyone would just behave. Like everyone was quiet. And then he'd walk past and he'd check your top buttons like this, like.
He absolutely was not checking your top buttons.
He doesn't work there anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, he was absolutely terrifying. So the only interesting thing ever that happened to me was that I was poorly and ended up throwing up all over him because he didn't believe me.
Ah, boo-hoo.
Because I was sort of falling asleep in history because I wasn't feeling well. And he kind of like smacked his hand down on the table and it jolted me awake, and he was like, you know, how dare you fall asleep for my lessons, it's that boring, and I just handed all over him. He's like, yep, office now. Like, cool.
You should have what, the nurse's office, right? Like.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I just threw over so and so, and they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna call you mum. And then it was just like, I told you I was poorly. But it was then for the rest of like school time. Not gonna throw up over me today, are you? Not gonna be sick on me today. It's kind of like, okay, all right, I get it. I'm the kid that threw up over a teacher.
I would have absolutely said yes every time.
Yes,
Like, yeah.
am.
Yes,
I will.
absolutely.
2 minutes, actually.
Yeah.
I used to respond, I'll try not to, and then he'll just be like,
So
I'm like, okay, don't joke.
the teacher that everyone was scared of at my school, I actually genuinely had him like, I don't know, I was almost untouchable because I just outsmarted him on several occasions. Because basically I was really good friends with another boy called Chris, so we were both Chris, and he always came up to me, and when the other one hadn't done his homework, and he'd be like, how dare you not do your homework? And I was like, actually, I handed it in, you just don't know who I am if you can't be bothered to learn my name. And this happened on several occasions.
Did you actually hand in your homework?
Yeah, I had done it. And, you know, but it happened multiple times, and everyone knew, and I just didn't take shit from him, and it was just like, oh. But, yeah, it was good.
Did he ever be like, don't chat back at me?
No, because he knew he was in the wrong. What could he do?
That's true. Exactly.
Yeah. And there was one bit, so, I was once in his lesson, you know, and I had an itch, and I picked my nose, big whoop. And he went, I saw that, and I'm going to tell everyone what you just did. And I went, okay, I picked my nose, but apparently that's more important than your class. It's like, checkmate.
So there you go. What more can you do at that point?
Well, exactly. You find that scary teachers are only scary because people are scared of them. If you just sort of stand up to them, they actually crumble very quickly.
Just like
I
Freddy
have a
Krueger.
power trip.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I was much more confident as a child than I am as an adult.
Oh, see, as a child, I was very much did as I was told. Now, as an adult, I'm kind of like, if I don't agree with something, I'm like, no, that's that border. Like, I absolutely despise the girls' school. So the amount of times I've had to go sort of down there and be mama bear because they're just not listening or stupid stuff. But teenage me wouldn't have done that. I would have just sat down and taken it and just like, no, go. I'm not even going to complain to my mum about it. I'll just let it happen, leave it alone. But I'm like, no, because the school hasn't changed, so it shows you how crap it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But
Every
no.
teacher seems to have a power trip,
Yes.
sadly.
But yeah, thanks for sharing your stories of violence with us, Snow. Who would like to, who would that was the best evil giggle. Who would like to go next?
Well, mine is, I mean, I don't think I've ever mentioned how I met Tony,
Okay.
so I wanted to kind of just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
It was, so we had a mutual friend, and then, one day they were both, like, in his stream, and I just jumped in chat, and then they were admiring someone's model, and then they were like, you know, Angel also has a model, so she went to check it out. She liked she liked my model, and we kind of just talked, and then became friends for Genshin. We started playing like that, and then after a bit, she let me know she had interest in me, but at the time I had interest in someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just one-sided, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of started after a while. Started developing feelings for her, and decided to let go of the one-sided love with the other said person. And after a bit, made sure that, you know, I had no feelings for the other person, because I didn't want, you know, Tony to be second in my heart or anything.
Yeah.
And well, now here we are. So what I'm trying to say with this basically is, like, if you're trying to find love, you can find it, but sometimes it's just where you're not looking.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to find someone, most of the time you'll probably find them when you are no longer trying to find them.
Yeah, you can definitely blind yourself by trying too hard.
Yes.
Yes. But I'm really happy for you two, because you two are both wonderful people and you're really cute together.
Thank you.
You are very adorable together. Completely agree.
Mm.
I love whenever she talks about you.
Yeah,
It's the
I was
it's
gonna
the
say.
cutest thing ever.
So a lot of times when I've been like talking to Tony, and she'll just be like, "So can I tell you about this nice thing that Haynes did?" And you like her entire like body language just sort of like lifts, like even if she wasn't sad before, but you know what I mean, it just elevates.
She gets so hyped over you.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
Can you guys not expose me?
No, it's exposed Tony time.
Yeah, no, sorry, I forgot that you were sat next to him.
The whole time just listening, playing Animal Crossing.
That's cool.
No, man.
But no, that's a really nice sweet thing for you to bring along.
I'm kind of the same, actually.
Yeah.
So, me and Dance's actually just recently celebrated being together for 20 years. So
Wow.
I was 14.
That's crazy.
So,
Well done.
yeah. So, yeah, I was 14, almost 15, and we met at my cousin's wedding.
Mm.
And he hasn't been able to lose me yet. I haven't been able to get rid of him yet. He's free if anyone wants him.
Okay. Free to good home.
Free to a good home.
Yeah.
He can cook.
Oh,
He is potty trained.
excellent.
He does tidy up after himself. So you're alright.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a real catch.
No, it's yeah, so yeah, we've known each other since I was like 14 and 16.
Wow.
So yeah. It was a very long time, and it's very embarrassing though, because it was me that was interested. I just sort of saw him walking along like this. They kind of like sectioned off a part of the car park leading to where like the reception was, and he was just walking through it. Now me being 14 was like, oh, that's so cool. So I'm going to stand onto a brick wall, find out what his name is, and shout out that he was really fit. As you do as a teenager, you shout random shit out, and then yeah.
Hey, it
I
worked.
could never. I'm too
It
shy.
worked.
I was going to say, I absolutely wouldn't have done that as a teenager.
Oh,
I'd have been like,
really?
my thing as a teenager was, hey, well, I don't know, it's really weird, right? At secondary school, I think I was quite like, in respect of being interested in girls, I was quite late to sort of start doing it. But anytime I was interested in girls, it was very much like, well, I like that girl, I'm a piece of shit, I'm just going to ignore, you know, just sit there and stare at them until my life changes. I would never ever be able to like actually say anything.
No.
I mean, I had, I think, 2 girlfriends in the time I was at secondary school, and one of them was very much because somebody else really put us together. And when they put us together, she was quite drunk and started kissing me. And I, as a 15 or 16-year-old, I was very much like, well, this is it. So yeah. But so at secondary school, I didn't really do much. But then when I look back at my time at college, until I ended up with Katie, which has obviously stuck since then. Most of my time at college, I did have a girlfriend. I obviously at secondary school I was very uncool, but obviously being a nerd in college must have been awesome because I actually almost did it. Well, that's it. I almost I very rarely didn't have a girlfriend. None of them lasted very long. Which is a really weird thing to think of because I'm not someone you would think of as like, hey, he's really good with the ladies because he's actually awkward and weird. But I don't know. But no,
I would have never pictured CK as a serial dater.
no, I exactly. You wouldn't. I mean, I'm still confused by it, and it was my life.
The man himself is confused about it.
No. But, yeah.
I remember between year 7 and I met dancers when I was in year 10. So between year 7 and year 9, every Valentine's Day, this one boy that used to like me, I used to say, yeah, I'll be your girlfriend, just so I could get chocolate. And then the day after Valentine's Day, I'd be like, sorry, I'm just not interested.
That's just mean. That's just horrible. Was it good chocolate?
I feel bad about it now. I do. But 11 to 13-year-old me.
Yeah.
Was like,
no shame.
This is great.
Yeah, chocolates. Oh wow.
Food, chocolate, teddy bears. What more could you want?
Oh. I've never liked Valentine's Day. When me and Katie got together, I was like, by the way, we're not doing Valentine's Day, just so you know.
Yeah, we don't really do it anymore. We might go weekend before or the weekend after. We'll go see what's on at the cinema. Maybe go get chicken Nando's, but otherwise we don't really exchange cards and things like that. He'll get me some chocolate that I like and stuff, but otherwise I don't really.
See, we didn't even do gifts or anything. Just so that was
I don't like flowers.
Uh,
I forget about them. I'll put them in the window, and then 4 months later I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot about those. Pass them every day, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I better take them down. Let's
But no, that was my only I guess one sort of, hey, if we're gonna date, this is my demand sort of thing. It was just we're not doing Valentine's Day because, and it was it was just before Valentine's because we got together in November, and I think it was just before Valentine's Day was the first time Katie told me she loved me.
Oh.
And then I was like, yeah, but we're still not doing Valentine's Day, right? I don't. Because my whole thing with Valentine's Day is I don't need a special day to love somebody. I will love you all the time.
It's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, but
I'll just hang on 1 second. I'll show you.
Okay.
So I think I've had this since I was 15 or 16. This was one of the first things dancers bought me, and I still have it. It's like a little tatty teddy, and it became an obsession that he used to buy me them all the time. I had loads, way too many. I don't have as many nowadays, but this one has stayed.
That's really sweet.
Oh yes, this one is just as old as our relationship.
Aww. But yeah, I don't know. I just sort of think I buy Katie presents all year round. Every couple of weeks, I'll get her something just because it's nice to do, and I don't need a day to be in love with somebody.
No, exactly.
I have this.
It seems like a money making thing now, doesn't it?
I have the same thing with
You want to know a fun fact?
Yeah.
A lot of breakups happen around Valentine's and Christmas.
Yes. Because they're stressful times.
Yeah.
Christmas is a very stressful time, especially for kids.
Yeah, I imagine so.
And a birthday, week before. So that's even fun. So you technically have to buy as if you buy for 5 children.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we've got Lyra's birthday next month, and we're already sort of thinking well, if we get her a big present for her birthday, she doesn't need as big a present for Christmas because everyone's going to buy her a present for Christmas.
Yeah. That's the thing to do.
Yeah. But no, but genuinely, congrats on 20 years. That's an incredible achievement, and I'm really glad that you guys are really happy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you know, I've only seen one of your kids, but he at least seems very happy, and I'm sure your whole family is lovely.
They are very lovely. They can be a pain in the bum.
Yes. Can't all families.
They could definitely test your patience. But no, they are very well behaved. You know, like a lot of teenagers can be quite, you know, they might want to hang out on the streets or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Mine don't really want to. Like, my oldest is at her friend's house for her birthday, and Rebecca's in her bedroom. Aaron, I'm pretty sure, is asleep in my bed. So he wakes up really early. So with Aaron, he's on the spectrum. So he likes to have. He wakes up really early. He likes to have that morning peace before the whole house wakes up.
Yeah.
So lately he's been sort of falling asleep between. His normal bedtime is at 9, but lately he's kind of been falling asleep between 7:30 and 8 because of how early he wakes up. I just don't have the heart to wake him up and move him. But even though he's 12, he's mentally like a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
So the things that he does, kind of, some people might be like, oh, he's 12, why is he acting like that? And it's like, physically he's 12,
Yeah.
mentally he's not. So even sometimes we have to remind ourselves, like, okay, he's doing that because that is what a 6-year-old would do. So even we are still learning to be parents. You know,
That must be
been
really tough
parenting for
though.
12 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's
I just remember like when you first started streaming, and he used to come into your streams and tell jokes. It was brilliant.
yes, he still does that. It's funny because it's just like it's just a random thing. He'll be like, "Why is the curtain red? Because it's red." And then you just have to be like, "Yeah, Aaron, that's so funny." And he generally thinks it's really funny, and I love it. Brilliant. So I bought him a joke book.
Yeah.
Doesn't use it. Doesn't want to touch it anymore. He's like, "No, I don't like people asking me for jokes anymore." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll remove it." And then he'd just come in and be like, "Does anyone want to hear a joke?" I'm like, "You said you didn't want to do it anymore." "Yeah, but I've got this one that I just came to my head." I'm like, "Okay, go on then." He's a funny boy.
Yes. I know. That's that's really nice to. I like that we've had Snow's like, I'm going to bring violence, and then you two have like gone really wholesome and lovely, and I feel like so to end things out, I usually tell my own story, and I think I'm going to hit nicely in the mid section between wholesome and violent, maybe, but because I thought like this time last year, like I say, it's almost Lyra's birthday, so this time last year on the show I told the story of how Lyra was born, and then I thought this year I might tell the story of how I was born, and try and use that to explain to you all why I like zombies so much.
Okay.
Because yeah, I've always been really interested in like zombie games and stuff. Maybe it was because I started playing Resident Evil as a quite young child, but I don't know. Zombie games have always interested me. I've always really enjoyed them. When I was at university, I did fiction writing. And every year for a bit of coursework, for the third year, it was actually my dissertation. I wrote zombie stories.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So my dissertation was you had to write the first 25,000 words of a novel, and I wrote my one was called "All I Want for Christmas Was Brains," and it was a story about two guys who would, despite the fact there was a zombie apocalypse, were trying to finish their Christmas shopping.
I love that. Brilliant.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be like a comedy sort of, but like a zombie comedy at Christmas, and it was really stupid. So yeah, zombies have always been a big interesting thing. Like I say, one of the people at my uni referred to me as the zombie kid because I was just always doing zombie stuff. But I wonder how much to do with the the big thing with zombies. I guess more modern things is like the infected, but like with traditional zombies, is there people who have died who have come back to life, and I wonder how much of that is to do with the fact that I was actually born dead.
Oh,
So
really?
so I've actually died and come back to life. I had to be resuscitated on birth, because I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck and I'd strangled myself.
No.
Oh gosh.
So I
PK was trying to speedrun life.
Yeah.
In life, why?
Very lucky.
Well, yeah, very lucky. My mum, like, I guess things were a bit different back then, but like my mum didn't see me until I was 2 days old because she had to recover from quite a traumatic birth and was on a lot of heavy pain meds and stuff. And I was very much rushed to intensive care. And they sort of said, like, my parents have always sort of said it was kind of weird seeing me in intensive care because it's like me who was like normal sized and like quite big, and then all the premature babies who are really tiny, and it was just like I looked like a giant compared to all these other kids. But yeah, so it was obviously a very horrible traumatic thing, but then I just wonder if there's some sort of subconscious thing in me that like things that have died and come back relate, because
Big.
I don't know.
It's a good possibility.
They do say that like some of your like memories, even if they're suppressed or whatever, can influence your interests as you get older.
Yeah,
So it's a possibility.
I don't know.
Like, your brain's like, oh cool, you're like a living zombie.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, hey, you're like a zombie. You're like one of these guys.
You just don't go around going brains.
Not often. Sometimes. But yeah,
That's only at the weekends.
yeah, that's it. Only when it's Halloween. But yeah, it's fun. Although speaking of like writing it for my dissertation, when we were doing the zombie story, so I got asked the hardest question I've ever been asked in my life, because we had to sort of like we had to, as well as do the first 25,000 words of the story, we had to write like a 2,000 word rationale on like why we had written the things we had written, which I always struggle with because I was just like, I just wrote it because it's funny, isn't it? Like, but that isn't an academic answer.
No.
And my tutor was like, so what are you trying to bring to the zombie canon? Obviously, like zombies, they're like a big metaphor for like consumerism and loss of identity and stuff. And it's like, and what are you trying to add to that? And I was like,
It's funny.
yeah,
Comedy.
I was like, I don't know, I just wrote a story. I was like, what I'm adding to it is that there's literally no depth. This has no hidden meaning, no metaphor, and it's just a stupid story about a couple of guys trying to do their Christmas shopping whilst fighting zombies and trying to kill them in the most ludicrously gory ways possible.
Oh, so wants that Barbie. Oh wait, that'll make a good like.
I was trying to think, like, there was a bit where they were in like an ice cream shop because they were hungry, and then zombies turned up, so that the ice cream scooped their brains out. You know, there's a bit where like on the way to the shops, there's a bit in the park where like a little girl zombie attacked them, and they like swung a swing into her to knock her over, and then like jumped on her head, and it like splattered everywhere. And I remember the line that I had from that bit because my tutor like called me up and he's like, do you really think this is appropriate? And I was like, this is definitely okay for the sort of story I'm telling. But he's like, he saw this little girl zombie attacking him, and he looked at her and he just went, hey, it's not Halloween, it's Christmas, you cunt, and then like throws the swing at her. and my tutor was like, do you think you should be putting that in? If you're going to use that word, it has to be really impactful. And I was like, I think it will get the point across.
Oh.
It was just, but yeah. So that's part of my zombie fascination and the fact that maybe I am a zombie.
CK would be the most handsome zombie ever.
Yes,
so.
Right.
Zombie pose.
Oh my god, I'd actually completely forgotten, but I've just remembered another zombie story I wrote as like a short story, but it was told from the zombie's perspective, and it was like genuinely one of the most upsetting things I'd ever written, and it was about a zombie called Frank, and he saw a load of people and he went, oh, I'm going to try and make friends with them, but obviously they don't understand because he's a zombie, and he just sort of goes over and tries to give them a hug, but they think that he's getting attacked, and they kill him. And it was like genuinely one of the most upsetting things. And then I sort of read it back after I wrote it, and I was like, why did I do that? It's just sad.
I'm just sad now.
He just wanted a hug.
Yeah, and but obviously because you have no idea what zombies are saying because it's zombies. I know, it's just like, oh. Yeah, so there you go. I hope somehow that's both violent and wholesome, and it really has brought the whole show together. But yeah, thanks everyone who's been hanging out in chat and watching and stuff, and thank you again to my wonderful guests. Can you each take a quick moment to talk about what you're doing on stream, where people can find you, and let me give you a shout out.
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
You might as well go first. You said something.
I might as well go first. So what I normally do on streams is I work on homework nowadays, or I do some simple just chatting streams mostly, and I occasionally play some games, variety of games on stream, so that people can hang out with me. I think this Sunday I'll be back live again. This last Sunday I was busy and tired.
Tomorrow.
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 For me, is it?
Oh, for you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Oh my god, it's Saturday.
Yeah.
I did not realize that. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with streaming. I think I'll be playing The Sims. I will be making some friends in Sims.
Well, there you go, Claire. This is your chance to meet another Sim streamer. Then go and
Definitely
check Snow
out.
If you want any of my socials, they're in my card, which is in my bio on Twitch.
Cool.
Yeah, that's where you can find me. And in Discord. You'll find me a lot in Discord.
Yes. Ains, do you want to go next? And I'll do a...
Yeah, so what I usually do on stream is I'm either doing a stream with friends or with my girlfriend Tony as of late. But for this month, and I'm pretty sure for the next month, I'll be like doing like spookier games, because I do every year I do 3 months of like scarier games, or like just like horror themed. I believe Thursday I'm gonna be doing My Friendly Neighborhood, and then
It's not working.
you can
Sorry.
you can find me Ainzio Muramoto.
I have spelled it
There's
right.
there's no underscore anymore.
There's no... Oh. That might be wrong in the title as well, and on the poster. There was an underscore when I did it. Yeah, there we go.
Oh yeah. I go on Twitter. I don't tweet a lot on Twitter. I usually just tweet out at random times, maybe something I'm listening to at the time, or something involving like maybe a game I enjoy, or just Twitch live notification. But most of the time I'm just on Discord or in other people's streams.
Mhm.
Yeah, if anybody decides to pop in, it'd be a pleasure to have you.
Cool.
I
Claire?
actually just meant to follow you all, and I've just followed Snow, but I actually already follow Angel anyway, apparently.
Awesome.
So must have been from a raid or something, so I will definitely check you both out. So for me, Sundays is going to be scary stuff, probably Phasmo or something like that. And as I was saying earlier, we've just started a like Big Brother Sims series, so we're gonna be doing a lot of that. If you enjoy tone deaf karaoke, I do redemptions for that. So we also have a new one, which is like Taylor Swift related, because I'm very obsessed with her right now. So we kind of like did like an eras type thing where it's like random numbers of like what the album is and how many songs you got to pick a number, and if I know the song, then to see if I can learn all the songs by the time her show comes next year. So yeah, just silly things like that. So lots of random sound alerts, lots of random quotes that people have misquoted me. So yeah, lots of, but also just lots of friendly people in chat too.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not streaming, I will be in somebody's chat somewhere. whether I'm lurking or just quietly typing away here and there. I am around.
Cool.
But that's it.
And then, as mentioned earlier, well, I'll be next streaming tomorrow. We're going to be playing House of Ash, which will be fun. For if you quick time interactive movie horror things, it'll be interesting because we've just done the 2 PS4 Dark Pictures ones. It will be interesting to see how the PS5 one steps it up, if it steps it up. But
oh yeah, I've played House of Ashes. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when I was doing Little Hope last time, Dunces came in and he was like, "Hey, I'm supposed to be playing Baldur's Gate with my friends, but this is my favourite Dark Pictures game, so I'm going to keep checking in on you." And it was really good. But yeah, House of Ashes we're going to be starting tomorrow. It's a bit longer than the other 2, so I don't know if we'll do the whole thing in one play like we did with the other 2. But if I'm feeling up to it, we will, and if not, it will be in 2 sittings. But then, like I say, starting next week, we'll be doing charity streams for the rest of the month, which I'm really excited about. It would mean a lot to me if people come by and check those out, and even if you can't afford to donate, because please only donate if you can do so responsibly, but if you can spread the word and stuff and try and make them as big of a thing as we can, that would be really cool. And that's what I'm up to, and for the rest of this month, really, if people want to come and hang out here. And like I say, I encourage everybody to check out all of my guests because they're amazing. So thank you again for coming on the show, Snow, Ains and Claire. You're all wonderful.
Thanks for having me.
Cool.
Thank you.
And also just like these chat shows are like my big thing. Like they're like my little baby of Twitch. You know, I mean the normal streams are like always fun and stuff, but these are kind of like my little baby. So it's always really nice when people come by and check them out. And
It's your passion project.
yeah, that's it. Because there's nothing I love more than both talking to my friends and also like showing my friends off to everyone else and being like, look, they're great. So it's just really great, and it's really nice when people come by and hang out, and the fact that people want to be on the show still blows my mind. So that's really cool. Right, but speaking of people doing big, fantastic things and stuff, wonderful streamer I know, Willow, is currently 26 hours into her 30-hour stream.
That's a lot of hours.
It is. She did a 30-hour one last week because it was Canadian Thanksgiving, and I can't remember why she's doing this one. I think she missed one in the week, so she was like, "Well, let's just do a big one to finish off." But she's really fun, super high energy, very bubbly person, and I think we should go and raid her and check her out and see what she's up to. So let's go and do that. Boom. If anybody wants my socials and doesn't have them, you can check out the Twitter to get updates on what I'm up to. There's past VODs on the YouTube, or if you want to chat in between streams, if you set your role, if you want to chat in between streams, if you join the Discord, you can do that there. If you set your role as a sloth, you get to see what I do with my little area of the Discord. If you set your role for live notifications, you get to see when me and all the other cool streamers in the Nerdy Castle go live, which does include Snow and Ains. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, well worth joining that Discord. I'll be back tomorrow streaming some horror stuff. It'll be fun. But until then, thank you again everyone for being here and for being on the show. And all I've got to say is bye. And remember, spread the wholesome. Oh no, wait, I haven't done a raid message. Fuck. If you want a raid message, it's there. If you'd rather say your own version of hey hello, how are you, that's perfectly fine. Also, if you want to carry on lurking, that's perfectly fine and valid too. You can enjoy media however you want to. It's entirely up to you. Now we're going to go. Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.